Be quiet.
Hello, everybody. We were talking about miniatures and painting them
Hello.
before
Yeah.
Gordon
Okay.
told us to shut up.
I've painted all the minis ever.
You've
More than
never
you can
painted
even
a mini, have I?
imagine.
What's a mini?
Sorry
Hello,
for the
everybody.
bit of a late start. We were having some technical difficulties.
2 minutes
Discord and
late.
cameras.
I think our whole
I
Twitch
don't. I
viewers are
don't.
okay.
Yeah, I think they're never watching us again. Actually.
It's
Oh
okay.
man, we lost
We
our
have
3
to just put off
followers.
the stream.
be-
We got to start up next week.
No.
Restart from session one.
So be it.
Yep, new characters.
So,
Roll
Gordon,
them
tell me about all these minis that you painted for the audience here before we even play D&D.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I've
Okay.
I've painted like a dragon, big old dragon. I wish I had it, but it's just not
Roll a
around right now.
deception check for me
I
because
paint.
that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody, to our third session here of the Sleepless Nights. We continued our adventure as we found all of our characters, outside of the mayor's manor in the small town of Elbador. After having a conversation with her concerning the attack that had happened on the town previously that night, a bunch of blue-eyed imps came from the ground and attacked the town itself. Um, Really, the reason that you had the conversation with the mayor was to gain permission to enter the monastery of because whenever you had approached before, you were in a barred entry by the sheriff. Um, the monastery of Ilmater was also affected. What it looked like, it was affected by the attack. There was destruction that kind of surrounded the perimeter of the building. So you suspected that it may have something to do with the attack. These monks of Ilmater had walked through Elbador and kind of created an odd disturbance that you guys found interesting enough to either one, accuse them of being involved or investigate them being involved. So after you had had this conversation with the mayor, who eventually gave you permission to go to the monastery and investigate as you would, you had a decision to make. One other thing that she had told you before you had left is that she believed a gentleman named Cade Snow could have been behind the attacks, as he was kind of um, how do I say this? She believes him as kind of an enemy, maybe a force that really doesn't like her presence being in charge in general here in Elbador. He runs a criminal organization, um, or at least what she considers a criminal organization within town. So she believes that he had something to do with it. Whether or not that's true, it's still to be found out. But so you guys had a choice whether to go visit Cade Snow, who runs the organization called the Disciples, in his club that he calls the Arrow, or go to the monastery. With a little bit of chit chat that you guys had, you decided that you were going to go first to the monastery to see if they were either the cause or affected by the same attack that had happened to the town. Making your way there, you approach the doors to the very large monastery here on outside of the town, and they were locked. With some force, you were able to open some of the door and peek inside, and still see some of the wreckage that had been strewn about in the inside of this monastery. Um, Eventually, getting the door open, you were slightly attacked. I would say, sort of tried, almost warded off by one of the brothers that you had seen talking earlier in the night. That was Hestel, who tried to ward you off with, I believe it was a chair, or I can't remember. It was either candelabra or a chair, or something of the like. He was trying to ward you off with. Um, but eventually, uh, the emotions kind of settled as Master Maestel made his presence known. An older gentleman with a bald head, covered in scars, obviously. Has seen many, many more years than any of you in the party, made his presence known and calmed the young Hestel. Um, and pretty much stopped the violence right in its tracks. And as he entered the floor that you guys were on of the monastery, you all noticed an interesting walking cane or staff that he carried with a interesting gem that was set in at the top of it. Um, but eventually, the conversations were had, and questioning Mystel about what had happened to the monastery itself, if they had had any involvement. Um, he promised all of you that they were not involved in any way causing the attack, but that the monastery was indeed attacked, but it was attacked 2 nights previous, and not by imps, but by a group of men, according to Hestel, the younger man who was left behind to guard the monastery as the other brothers had taken a venture into the Chondalwood. Had said that this monastery had been attacked 2 days before, which was interesting, because, well, it was interesting because you guys really did believe that the imps had attacked here, but some of you also had kind of reservations about that, and it seems like some of your reservations were proven true. Investigating some of the attack, it looks like there had been a large explosion or some kind of an eruption in the center of this building that exploded from the inside outward, which kind of connected the dots to all the debris around the monastery kind of being blown outward instead of kind of being destroyed from inside. And it also kind of looked like the place was tossed as well. So talking with him, your suspicions about their involvement kind of lightened a little bit. He also gave you a description of some of the individuals. Hestel did, the younger brother, a man in crimson robes. He didn't really get a good look at his face. Had caused this explosion with a flash of light in the center of the monastery here, light and blue flame. This is the only thing he could remember before it being tossed across the room. And what you guys had overall figured out here is that the people that had attacked the monastery were in search of something they called the Moonstone, which was described to you as a large piece of obsidian, about this big, had been which had been housed at the bottom of the monastery along with many other relics that these brothers were kind of issued by the Order of the Blue Flame to guard. It had been stolen. Hestel admitted that he tried his best to stop them, but obviously being by himself and being attacked by something of that immense power, he obviously could not stop them. There were some shenanigans to be had. In the meantime, as people entered and left the room when you guys were having conversations, Redrick and Ren decided to take a look in the back, I would say, kind of passing through the bed chambers of the brothers that stay here, and also into a kitchen-like area. In the bed chambers where they had found a man who was murmuring things under his breath, seeming to be in some sort of state of confusion. It was the same man that you saw being flogged in the street earlier that night. Had grabbed Ren and kind of gave her a little bit of a fright as they continued on through. Eventually, sneaking out a window of the kitchen and walking back to the front, and kind of rejoining the group here. So after kind of questioning, in summary, you guys figured out that a group had attacked this monastery 2 days before. And had stolen something called the Moonstone. At least that's what the brothers refer it as. After that, as you all were kind of giving your closing statements and reconvening outside, a few of you stayed after to talk to Master Mystel. First was Kaldor, who kind of questioned him about the god that they serve here and kind of his purpose. Not really enjoying the answer that he got from the old Mystel. Exited sort of in a, I don't want to call it angry, but more of a suspicious or let down, maybe even let down in a way, as he is searching for something that maybe he didn't find in this monastery. Lastly, it was Ren, our half-elven friend, who stayed behind and was more curious about the gem that Master Mystel had on his walking cane. Which we had found out earlier by a little bit of detect magic that this was a divination, was the magic that was held inside this gem, and it was explained to Ren that it was able to find people from a large distance, assuming that it was probably a scry spell of some sort, was used. She tried to find a family member of hers or a friend, but it seems like the spell did not attach, or there was some resistance that had happened, and unfortunately, they were not able to be found at that moment in time. Giving the thanks to the brothers, you made your departure. And after some discussion, you decided before the night was over, and granted, the night is rather late at this point at night. It's probably getting closer to midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. You made your way to the other side of Elbador, and where you found an interesting club, so to speak. A little bit of scouting. You noticed that the club was busy, packed, but you couldn't really see any faces from the outside. So a few of you, a curious few, decided that they were going to try to gain entry into this club. It was Adlith, Egg, Ren, and Cassis who approached the club here, the Arrow, at the other side of Elbador. Knocking on the door, you heard sounds of large footsteps approaching, and as a set of eyes, cat-like eyes, kind of greeted you. It took a little bit of convincing to let you into the inn itself, or the club itself. And opening the door, you were presented by this massive bugbear, who was obviously some sort of bouncer. Entering, you saw all sorts of people, manner of people, in this kind of smaller club, as you would say, playing all sorts of bar games, getting drunk and having a revelry, as it is a festival today in Elbador. Some questions were asked for the bartender. Not too much was found out. There was also a little conversation with a half-elf who took some interest in our Furbolg friend, and asked her about a mysterious undead drake that she was searching for in the northern parts of the Chondalwood. Unfortunately, Adlith had not heard or even seen such a creature. But eventually, the man that you were all looking for... We good? The man we were all searching for, Cade Snow, made his presence known as two other gentlemen, and from behind a black curtain, him and two other gentlemen made themselves known. The two gentlemen leaving. Cade being dressed in all black, having a large black cloak that kind of flowed to the ground. Long black hair, a mysterious-looking figure. Seemed to already know who all of you were that had entered his club, and invited you to speak in the back of what would be his office or some sort of chambers. And as you entered, the black curtain he waved behind you kind of silenced the loud noises that were happening in the club, and it kind of put you in this more private setting. A mysterious conversation was had. He, like I said, obviously knew who all of you were. He seemed to be, I would say, knowledgeable of what had happened in Elbador, somewhat. Questioning him about it. He kind of tried to turn it on you in a way, kind of threatening with you being the outsiders in town, and saying that maybe you were the cause of the attacks. He seemed curious about them as well. Maybe not suspicious enough to have actually caused the attacks, but he seemed curious to want to know about them as well. But he did glean that he had more information than he was probably presenting at the time. He also kind of gave you guys an ultimatum. He would tell you more about a few different things that that you guys were involved in. The attacks, where this mysterious Sloan figure was that our Redrick, who he gave the message to all of you to give back to our scaly friend Redrick, where his location might be. The task that he gave to you was to head to the Chondalwood and to fill this vial with some water. He kind of gave you kind kind of a loose description of the area that you were to head to, into the Chondalwood, to find a large pool to fill this vial of water, and bring it back to him, and he would give you the information you were looking for. He also told you to find the Enjoy clan, which were a clan of gnomes in the woods. He kind of said that they were an odd clan, that they would probably know either the location or more about this pool that you were to look for. Interestingly enough, he actually created a sort of contract that had no writing on it, other than a line at the very bottom with an X. Just kind of a permanent agreement, he kind of called it, to not break the contract that the agreement that you guys made here. And kind of nervously, the other three, Ren, Adlith, and Egg, didn't sign, but Castus was quick to sign, not really thinking about it at all. And with that, you left this mysterious club owner's office, and we now find ourselves, as you guys exit past the bugbear once more, and find yourself in the streets of Elbodor. You see, not too far across the street, your other companions, not hidden too well, just kind of lackadaisically sitting across the street, waiting for your presence, and you guys to return. That is where we would find ourselves now. It is probably close to 2 a.m. All of you are exhausted and tired, either from having a long travel, fighting off imps, a long night of questioning, partying, maybe even drinking beforehand. But it is now late, and you have all been tasked to go to the Chondalwood.
How'd it go?
You guys. Oh, I'll point out. Adlith is in her Furbolg form, not the disguised form that she went in as.
Well, he said he might be able to point us in the right direction of he thinks might be responsible for what's been going on. We just have to do a small favor for him first, and so we have to head into the Chondalwood to get some water.
Sounds easy enough.
It's
You just
special
thirsty,
water,
or...
No,
he said it had some kind of properties that he wanted. Not really sure what they were. He wasn't super forthcoming. Kind
Are
of
we
a
just skating past him as a suspect.
well, I don't really get the vibe that he did it.
No, he seems like someone who knows a lot of things, but he wouldn't. He seems to have like a nice foothold in this town, so it would not do him well to destroy his livelihood. So I think that's we can't.
He also
take him
doesn't
off
want to
the
bring
table.
attention to the town, to like his operation. So that part made sense to me. Yeah.
Sure.
Do we want to maybe talk at the inn? I'm pretty tired.
Yeah, let's.
Redrick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sloan.
Sloan.
He knows of Sloan. Sloan?
I kind of like
Who's
look to
Sloan?
Red for confirmation.
You said Sloan.
Yeah. He said that. He said that as a gesture of goodwill, to tell you that if we did this favor for him, he could potentially tell us what he knows about the imps, and then also tell you something about Sloan.
And you're sure it was Sloan? Wasn't talking about loans? Wasn't?
No.
Sloan. He was very clear on that.
Yeah.
Pardon me for a second. And I'm just gonna start walking over towards the door of the Arrow Club.
After.
Just a minute.
Oh, okay.
Seems like it could be trouble. Let's watch.
I'm just gonna walk.
So you walk up to the door.
Bang on it.
You hear people inside having a good time still. No answer.
Hey,
I'm
open
gonna
up!
walk up to the door with Redrick.
Why didn't we just all go in together the first time?
I
Well, we
mean,
didn't.
I was putting together this cart fell over.
Oh yeah, it's like probably it's probably standing upright at this point. The wheel's probably off, so it's still kiltered at an angle. But I know Redrick was helping you at one point. You probably have all the stuff back on the cart, but it's still like leaning.
So I'm not hearing anyone like come to the door or anything.
After 2 or so minutes, you wait. Nothing.
Where'd you say those windows were? With the cast is
Sure.
Frederick, we are very tired, and apparently Sloan is very important to you, which I will not take from you. But how about we get some rest and kind of just recharge, because you going in clearly upset about something or charged about something. Let's just revisit this in the morning.
Yeah,
Listen,
Castus also signed his name on something magical, so we probably shouldn't piss that guy off right now.
Yeah, I
Dude, what?
really would not like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of in order to get his help, someone had to volunteer to sign an agreement so that we can't renege on the agreement.
You signed a magical contract with a man you just met.
yeah, that sounds
I
like
didn't-
your
Yeah.
bad decision to deal with, not mine.
I
I'm gonna go find
I
those
didn't
windows.
know. I didn't know it was magical at the time.
He summoned it out of midair. What do you mean?
It could have just him being lazy and not reaching over to grab something. I think I'm within every
Oh.
possible right to think that he's just incredibly lazy and just showing off.
Oh, sweetie, you can't come in there with me anymore.
I am gonna go look for the windows.
I'm gonna go with him. Come on, I'll show you where they are.
Calder's gonna walk around with them too.
All right, give me 1 second, here, boys and girls.
As we kind of walk around, I'll just be like, listen, I get it. You guys are all welcome to go back to the inn. If this fucker knows anything about Sloan, I'm getting in there one way or another.
Who is this Sloan to you? Is a friend of yours?
Someone I've been looking for a while. Couldn't find
Fair to
anything
say.
on
Not a
him.
friend.
If he knows anything, yep, we're going in. I don't care. I'm getting in there.
Care to say
Adlif,
why you're looking for
Hold
him?
on 1 second, guys. While you guys are investigating, I want Adlif to make me an intelligence check real quick, and then we'll continue.
Okay. Here,
First
I'm
roll,
gonna
first roll.
out my- What's her modifier? 0. Okay.
0?
It's her modifier, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her
Not
modifier.
0 to it.
Sorry.
Oh, thank
Either
God.
that or history. It might be the same thing.
Here, I'll just roll
Same
it
thing.
here. Oh, a history? Okay.
Mhm.
See if it's gonna. A 3!
Nice.
Hey!
You guys begin to peer into the windows, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going with
Yes.
Redrick?
Calder and Castus.
Castus. Okay, so I want you all to make me a perception check.
All right, come on. New dice. Out.
Mm.
Nat
That is
20
a
for a
5.
23.
That's a 5 for me.
13.
Okay. With that roll, Redrick, as you begin to peruse the windows, once again, like I had described, they are pretty foggy from the inside, or from the outside. You can still see like light coming from the inside, but you don't see too many figures in there. Actually, you don't see any movement at all. You hear voices, and it sounds like there's revelry going on, but you don't see any movement or shadows of people sitting at tables. You can see tables itself. But they seem empty at this point. Where the patrons are, you don't know. You never even looked in here before, so to you it's odd. But you don't see anybody.
Now, Redrick, that was your name, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Just take a minute. before you do anything rash. I can see Sloan is important to you. I'm not sure why. I don't want to talk too much about it right this second. But maybe this Cade Snow is not someone we want to piss off. Maybe.
Please.
Could be someone
As
we
you
do
guys
want
are
to piss
ta-
off, though.
As you guys are talking about this, Redrick, you're kind of still, out of the corner of your eye, you do now see something very large kind of move into your vision. You can't really see it clearly, but it is a silhouette of something, a large humanoid-like being. It kind of leans up to what you would assume is a bar, and it seems to be talking to something else. And eventually it walks back towards the back right-hand side of the bar and disappears behind either a door or a curtain, or something of that sort.
If I
It's
could,
kind of blurry from inside these,
Yeah.
outside of these windows.
If I could before, like while he was still out in the room, just like knock on the window and see if there's any reaction.
So you knock. Ting, 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 ting. Ting, 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 ting. He doesn't even seem to notice you're there.
Listen, I understand what you're saying, but I don't really give a fuck who I'm pissing off. If he knows where Sloan is, I'm getting in there. I'm starting looking around for like a rock or something that I
Okay,
can
give me a
just chuck at
perception
this
check.
window. You guys don't want to piss. My name's not on the contract. If you guys don't want to piss him off, go on back to the inn. I'm having a conversation with this guy one way or another.
Okay, just
I won't
please
blame
be
you.
careful. Please be. He knows magic, and it may be just all for show. He may know something worse. Just please be careful.
All right, I'll keep my eye out, and I'll just like pick up like a big rock or like a brick or something. Just like start tossing it.
Okay.
I'm
It's easy enough
I'm
to
leaving
find
the
one.
area. I'm
Yeah.
leaving the area.
Just look to Calder like.
I'll stick around.
All
I know
right.
I'm not sure this is the smartest course of action, but I'm not gonna let you die either.
Appreciate it. And then just gonna chuck it at the window as hard as I can.
Oh God.
Glass explodes. And light begins to pour out into the side of this building. Are you climbing through? What are you doing?
Does it look the same? Just kind of curious. Like it looks the same through the window as it did before I broke it. Like it wasn't like an illusion or anything. Is basically what I'm asking.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
it looks the same.
Yeah,
So
then I'll
now
start
that
climbing
you can
through.
see, even from what you can see, without getting any closer, inside you can see a small hearth, some round tables. The sound of the revelry, and the people that were in there is silenced. So now you don't hear anything. You do see the tables, and that seem to be completely empty. And inside the establishment itself seems empty, for what you can see right now, kind of standing from the outside in.
All right, I'm just gonna start climbing my way up in.
Okay.
Oh fuck! Climbing behind him.
It's a struggle. It's not easy to get in.
I'm
It is.
sorry.
It's probably only like 4
Out of
foot in
character.
height at most. So
We're
you guys
both about
kinda,
to die.
yeah, you guys all both kind of grab onto the ledge and just kind of squeeze your way in. You both fall in. Like I said, it's an empty
Hello?
room.
Anyone home?
Howdy.
Call out. You wait. No sound.
Where do we still hear voices?
Nope. The sound of the establishment, like the voices and the excitement that you heard, was silenced as soon as you broke the window.
Well, I say we have a look around.
They said they spoke to Cade in an office of some kind, right? Maybe towards the back here.
Remember mention of a magical curtain? Look around for a curtain.
You see a curtain hanging, as your perspective is back to the back left, behind the
So
bar.
like pulled shut.
It is pulled shut, yeah.
Did they make mention of the fact that it silenced things or anything?
Mm.
I don't recall.
Only
that
they would
did.
know.
Oh, never
I
mind.
said that
My
at the
bad.
beginning, but
Right.
you two would not know.
Well,
Are they hiding? We're not that scary shit.
I mean, I don't know. Gotta look around while we're here. And I'll just start by not going behind the bar. It's probably the last place I'll look for an office, but whatever other doors there are, which I'm assuming just the curtain.
So you guys are heading towards the curtain then?
Yeah.
Is there any other door in the room or anything?
Give me a perception check.
19.
So with a 19, you do not see any other doors other than the curtain in the back. But what you do see is interesting. It seems like there were people in here at one point. There's just chairs pulled out. There's drinks that are half drank and dirty dishes all over the place. It seems like the people just kind of up and disappeared in the middle of a party almost. The place is not clean. It is disheveled. So that you do see, but no
Okay.
other doors. And interesting enough, with that roll, 19, looking around at the other windows, it's not blurred. You can see perfectly fine from the outside in. When you were looking from the inside out, you could not see in here very well. But now that you're inside, you're kind of looking around, and you can see clearly the streets of Elwador through the windows
Okay.
from the
I
inside. of
point
this
that out
house.
to Redrick. I'm thinking they got some enchantments on this place. Keep it nice and quiet. We should tread lightly.
Yeah, I guess that as well. They did say he did magic, so I was expecting something like that. Is there any like obvious magical traps that I'm seeing now that he mentions that? Which probably wouldn't be as obvious.
You go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Sure. Dirty 20.
You look around. No, nothing that you can notice as a magical trap or anything like that.
Or normal traps, I'm not really
You
picky.
don't see any tripwires or anything that would resemble a trap.
Well, the only other out I see is that curtain. If they're here, that's where they'd be, I think.
I think the whole party just disappeared back there.
Maybe they're... Or maybe they got another way out behind.
Alright, let's check it out. Start walking over, I guess.
You first.
Okay, you get to the
I
black
will,
curtain.
I'll follow him a few feet back.
You get to the black curtain.
Pull it open.
Okay, you pull it open. You throw it open, and in front of you, you see an empty room. There is a long, large, rectangular table with a few chairs that kind of surround it. They seem mundane. The table itself is not covered in anything. It is just a bare table. Not even any drink glasses or plates or anything like that. It doesn't even seem like anybody has been in here. Nothing. That's literally really the only item in this room is a large table. On the walls, they're all bare. No semblance of anyone being here. It doesn't look like anybody. It looks like this room was less occupied than any other room than the main room, right? So that no one's here.
Gotcha.
Well, that's fucking eerie.
Yeah. Kind of bar as table in the back. Just kind of behind the curtain. Guess private room if they need it.
Yeah.
I do want to ask, I guess since we're kind of in front across the street, do we hear the sound of broken glass?
Yeah, it wasn't hidden.
Okay, I'm
So
just-
whenever
I'm
Redrick smashes the window, all of you,
Breaking
all
glass,
of you
not
even
especially
see it.
stealthy.
It's not too far away from you. It's on the side of the building. It's pretty obvious what he did. So all of you outside see him do this as well.
Is that a way to get into places if you can't get in through the door?
No.
It's a very good way to get in trouble for getting into a place. But if you need to, I mean, it works, certainly.
Inspect sheriff.
Yeah,
Well,
Scales,
I mean,
not,
the sheriff's out of town at the moment delivering a letter, so we might get away with this one.
Get away
Yeah,
with
not
it with the
feeling-
sheriff, not Snow.
not
I mean, a
feeling
person like that
confident about
probably
this
has a
movie.
few. Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay.
Maybe we step out. Getting a little weird here.
Damn it.
We'll see him again. Especially if Cassis went and signed off his fucking soul. Kate'll certainly be looking for us.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take a look in the back of the bar real quick. Be right out.
Investigation
Alright.
check.
Yeah, I'll just look behind the bar and that little door back there, see what's going on. If I can find anything. That would be a 9.
You do not see anything. There seems to be some dirty dish rags, a pitcher full of ale that was probably used to refill people's drinks. Other than that, some food stores,
I'll take some ale in a cup. If I'm getting nothing else
Pour
out of
yourself an
this.
ale.
Take the picture.
Yep.
Shame to let it go to waste.
There you go. And yeah, I'll just head back out in the room and kind of fall back out the window.
Okay, so you're going out through the
I'll
window.
hold the picture. I'll hold the picture while he goes through the window and hand it through to
Yeah,
him.
yeah. Keep it safe. Understood.
I mean, at this point, you might as well just walk out the front door, right?
That would be too obvious.
Yeah, come on. Someone might see us.
Breaking and entering, stealing.
Went through all the trouble of opening that window. I'm not going to let it go to waste. I'm going to go back out.
So I'll just kind of walk out of the alley, just like, fuck.
Oh, thank God they're alive.
Adlet gives you a really big wave when you come around the corner.
Patty.
So the shady fuck wasn't in the place you expected him to be in.
Nobody was there.
Look like the place is
That's
empty.
not his name.
That was really quick.
That was weird. I mean, that place was just packed, right? We talked to
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a conversation with a really pretty elven lady.
You have a
She knew
conversation
I
with
was purple.
Strong bugbear. Bad stew.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I thought you empty a club like that in a matter of minutes. Sounded like it was full from the outside too. I wasn't the only one hearing that, right?
No.
Yeah, no, it was full a minute ago. I
Yeah,
think you just,
you
alienated the one person that knows the information that you want.
No, I mean when I say it sounded like it was like right before I broke the window.
Hmm.
Yeah.
A minute before.
Yeah.
Maybe that was part of the enchantment. Keep people from looking.
Exactly
on,
did you see? Did you see anything in there?
Nothing.
I just kind of want to point out that they definitely had people watching us, so maybe we should go talk at the inn.
Yeah, let's
I
go.
mean-
Yeah.
We are gonna need somewhere to drink this.
Oh, that's you stole from him too. Okay, great. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
let's go,
okay, cool.
Let's go quicker.
If you're gonna drink that, you gotta finish it before we get to the inn. They don't like people bringing in outside alcohol, right?
No outside food and drink.
All right.
I want a window. Remember?
We'll get you a nice
Yes.
window.
We'll make sure you have a window.
Actually,
Adler, correct? Yeah, that was your name.
Yeah, Adlet.
I'm
Adlet
still,
for
there's a
both.
whole fucking lot of you.
Yeah.
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 Let's go back.
Let's
we'll get
go, let's
some
go.
beds.
Okay, so you guys head towards the happy home, which some of you are acquainted with already. The excitement that you had heard when you first passed this place on the way to the Arrow has kind of died down. You see some patrons exiting, some probably a little bit more drunk than others. So it's when you enter, is not too excited. But this inn it's a 2-story building with a half timbered roof. When you enter, you see it is filled with like well-made wooden tables and chairs. There are some patrons still kind of conversing and finishing drinks. The bartender has changed since you have last seen been in here, at least the ones that were in here. You see a male. He has long brown hair that kind of goes down to the back of the center of his hat or his back. Wearing sort of just a basic cloth shirt that kind of he keeps open at the chest. He's rather tall and lanky, very thin and pointed face. He kind of waves at all of you. I'll be with you in a moment. He seems to be cleaning at this point at night. Probably a little bit annoyed that more patrons are showing up this late at night. It's probably getting close to the closing time.
How
here
dare
at
we
the inn.
bring him business?
I know exactly. He's
Hate it.
probably he probably works. You probably assume this guy works the night shift. You know, he probably is
Yeah.
not used to dealing with many people. He likes to sit behind the counter
Yeah.
all night and probably read a book or something like that.
It's
But,
festival night. Deal with it.
yeah, it's festival night. So you guys find a seat, or what are you doing inside here?
I think maybe it's best well, unless you got something critical that needs to get out now, maybe it's best we just take a sleep, meet up in the morning, go over all our details, see what we're going to do. You said apparently we're going into the woods for something, so
Yeah.
that'll be fun.
Fancy water.
Fancy water, yes.
It
Maybe we'll-
will be fun.
Yes. Certainly it's going to be very interesting. Oh, I've actually got. Oh, I've got a room upstairs, but I got an idea. I'm probably going to be working on. If you want to take that, it's got a window, and I actually got an idea you might like. If you want, if we're all going to bed. Anybody's got something they want to get off now?
Nothing that can't wait till morning.
Yeah.
I was
No.
gonna stay up and have a few drinks, but you're welcome to. I'll see you in the morning.
I might come back and join you. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, Miss Atlas, come this way. And Isaiah will take her up to whatever room he's rented, which has a window. But he'll take some of his tools and go up into the timbers over the bed and hang his travel cloak so that it sort of hangs over top of the bed, and take some of his tools and his little like pick he uses for fine detail work and start scribbling a little bit on the bottom of it, and stars will pop up into the darkness of the cloak and do just the ever softest little bit of light shining down onto the bed, so when you look up it just looks like you're right outside, as his magical tinkering skill. There you go. That should suit you just fine for the night. And hey, a bed's a little bit more comfortable than a rock sticking in your back.
We don't sleep on rocks, silly. You sleep on the grass. But you see the little floppy ears perk up. This is really cool. Is she just kind of like, she takes egg off her back and puts the egg in on the bed and then like crawls in with it. And I have a question. Is there constellations?
It would probably look slightly north of what you're used to, but mostly the same constellations.
Okay, she starts pointing the constellations out to Egg. Oh, wait, I can't forget. And she digs in her bag and she pulls out Waffles and starts also showing Waffles the constellations. And if you eventually leave the room, that's what you hear her doing.
Yep.
And Waffles at
back
this
up.
point is still just a pot of dirt. There is no star.
Perfect.
A pot with potential, though.
Yes. Yeah, you just hear Adlith rambling on about the outdoors and the stars and what this one's about and what this one's about. A plethora of knowledge on stuff that you were like, she probably doesn't seem like she would know this, but she does.
After that, he'll just head downstairs, sort of commandeer one of the tables, set up his backpack, and unroll a bunch of tools and start working on something.
Any description of what you're working on?
There's
Even
a
if
lot
it's
of
just a few parts.
So he's been going around fixing things over the course of the night in the temple, at the cart, and so he's got just this collection of scraps of metal and wood, and he pulls out one little pearl and sets it off to the side, and a couple little glass beads, and he starts working on what look almost like wings, with some of the smaller pieces of wood acting as feathers behind them.
Very cool.
I'll come
Are you
and
kind of
pull up a
separate? Are you
chair.
separated from everyone else? Did you? Or did you just kinda, like,
I would have been close enough to talk, but
Yeah.
he's
in your own workshop? Space?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say
He will
probably
respond,
would
but
have called her. We probably would have grabbed a table and started splitting that pitcher of ale we took.
Yep. Snuck it in.
With everyone, with them, we had still kind of starting to drink. Cassius probably stick around just a little bit longer and kind of look around for his cat that's been kind of MIA since the imp fight.
Give me a perception check.
Okay. That is a 10.
10. It's easy enough. It seems that the bartender has made a new friend. At the end of the bar, you see a gray cat curled up. You can see that his head is just laying on his paws, breathing deeply, not even taking any notice that you have left and come back.
That sounds about right. I'd sit and just kind of just relax because it's really the first time we really relaxed all day.
Ren's gonna approach Castus at some point when he's kind of off by himself and just be like, are you from? Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from I'm trying to remember what the name of that place is. Is it Nymphis?
Thinking about a
Nympheth?
nymph?
And yeah, I'm from Nympheth. Yeah.
Is Calder in
Nimbus.
earshot of this?
I don't know how you guys are sitting.
Because I guess she said she was trying to grab him on his own.
Okay, you can give me a perception check
Yeah.
and see.
Imagine it's a pretty small space.
Uh,
12. You do hear the name. It's pretty familiar to you. So you don't hear why it's brought up, but you do whenever he says that. I mean, he's not trying to be quiet or anything like that.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
That would probably notice. Just, I'm not gonna like ogle them or anything. Just like a little like head tilt in their direction.
Oh, I was just curious that Snow guy, whenever he said that some of us reminded him of home, I think he was looking at you.
I doubt that. You know, no, nobody. I have to set this face that you look and you're like, hey, I know that guy. It's just one of those things, you know.
That's okay. You don't have to tell me. I don't need to know. I just thought you should know because it kind of seemed like you recognized you. But I'm gonna go to bed.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
He's
And
gonna
Ren's
get up
gonna
and
go
go
to her
over.
room.
He's gonna go up and sit next with the other guys and just kind of just try to put past what he just what she just told him.
Ren, if you were going to bed and getting your own room, it will cost you 5 silver pieces for the evening to stay here.
Okay, that's fine.
It's Ren.
I hear you're right. You're from.
Oh,
go
sorry,
ahead.
you go. No, you go, Mac.
I hear you're right. You're from Nympheth. Castus.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, from Nympheth. Yeah, born and raised.
Insight check. That sounded awkward as fuck. Oh, natural one. I believe you.
From whatever I say, yeah, you believe me because I rolled a. Where's my numbers? An 11. Yeah,
Born and
yeah.
raised. How long ago?
From. Oh, I'm like 20, so I'm born and raised there. I only kind of came over here recently. No, just kind of traveling, just kind of seeing the world. You know.
Oh, you only recently left.
Yeah. I figured no, I should probably get out there and explore and try to sow oats or whatever that phrase is.
Uh-huh.
Rumor has it that place kind of a shithole. Is that true?
Oh yeah, I mean the fact that I didn't leave sooner. I mean, my God, man, I have no real interest in going back. It's just leaving that place, coming here. It's. I think I'll be away from there the rest of my life.
Right.
Yeah.
It's good they got hours.
Yeah. So, quick question. Have any of you ever seen this before? And I pull out that pamphlet that I got from that at the start with it's a image of a man dressed in white armor with a green shield in his left hand, a sword in his right, and with what appears to be like a family in front of him. I just kind of put it down. Like, have you ever seen anything like this before?
Have I?
Does it have that Ilmater symbol on it anywhere?
It does not.
Okay. Can't say I'm particularly familiar.
Who's sitting with him?
It's me and
Me and
I guess-
Redrick.
I would say Calder and Redrick can give me history checks.
Sure.
Isaiah's adjacent somewhere.
10.
Isaiah's working.
8.
10 for
Neither
me.
one of you know what this represents. It's
I
odd,
felt
and it
kind of-
seems roughly drawn. It seems like almost like someone with like no art talent at all drew a knight in shining armor with a green shield, a stick figure family kind of behind him. It's more than just a stick figure, but it's sort of like a shadowy figure of what you would assume is a family behind it. A large sword in the right hand.
Say anything to you when they gave it to you?
No, just I can't remember. Did they actually say something to me as they put it in front of me? Right.
Something like "Let the Father bless you" or "Father be with you." I
Okay.
think it was "Father be with you" is what it was.
So I relayed that, but that's about it. And I think I'm the only one who got it.
Well, maybe Ilmater related then. I don't see any iconography that we've seen the last couple of days, though, or the last couple of shit, just today, rather.
It's been
been a
a
long-ass
very
night.
long
Long
day.
day, long day. I agree.
Okay, I was just curious, and so yeah, I kind of reach into my pocket, pull out a nice brass-looking polished pocket watch, and kind of look at it like, yeah, it's getting kind of late, so I think I'm gonna get some rest. Good night. See you in the morning.
All right.
All right.
Ren, because you headed upstairs first. As you were passing, as you were passing Isaiah's room, or you wouldn't know this, but a room, you hear a bang, like not like a bang, but like a thump, and you hear Adleth go, "Oh
Adleth? Adleth, are you okay?
no!" So you hear like the Adleth isn't that quiet when she's not trying to be, so you hear like the thumping of feet, and then the door peeks open. Hi, Ren.
Hi. I heard a noise. Are you good?
I broke this, and she's opens the door and she's holding the one leg to the bed, and the bed is like lopsided.
Okay. Okay.
I took it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, let's just put that down for now. And then
No,
here we'll
I
take.
need it
Why?
because I'm gonna make a present for Isaiah, and
Oh, you broke the bed on purpose.
Yes, I needed the wood, and the bed's made out of wood.
Oh. Okay. Okay. So humans can be a little weird about property. And so I know that you think that the woods own the woods, but they think that they own the wood that they cut down. So when you break things, they're gonna get mad. So you
So I
shouldn't
can't
break
use
it.
this one?
No,
I
no.
already broke it.
Yeah. We're just gonna stick it back. We're just gonna stick it back on there, and then you're gonna sleep on the floor, and the bread's not gonna break, and then we're gonna leave really early in the morning, and they're not gonna know it was you. It'll be fine.
But no, look, and she shows like the cloak, which is kind of like lopsided hanging. She's like, I need to sleep under the stars.
Right.
Yeah, so Ren, you see this cloak, and it was kind of hanging, like she said, lopsided at the edge of the bed now. Isaiah did his best to hang it up, so as the bed had fallen, it kind of shifted a little bit. But inside the cloak, it is dark, and what you see are these bright, shining lights. What seems like a very starry night inside this cloak, which is quite a sight. Something you've never seen before.
Oh. Okay. Okay. The cloak
Isn't
just.
that pretty?
Oh, it's just glowing. Oh, that's normal. Okay. 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 So you can't
Do
use
you
that
want
wood.
to stay here?
No, I have a room. Thank you. But
Okay.
okay. Hang on. I'm gonna go get Isaiah, and I think he can fix the bed. And then tomorrow, when we go to the woods, then you can find a piece of wood, and then you can make him a present. How's that sound? And
Roll
I'll keep it a
persuasion.
secret. I just used a nat 20 on that.
Perfect.
She reminds you of your mother.
Okay, if there's probably this wood has been like, already like
Yeah.
there's stuff
Yeah.
done to it, and I can get
Yeah.
some nice, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that wood's already been talked into being a bed, so then you can talk new wood into being a gift.
Okay. That's.
Okay.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
of course. And then Ren's
Okay.
gonna go back downstairs and be like, Isaiah,
What? Yeah.
can you fix a bed? I think Adlith broke hers by accident.
I'd be happy to.
What was that I heard? What was broken? You hear from coming from behind the bar.
She just said you were going to get some new pieces of furniture in the morning. It'll be fine.
I warn you, if anything's broken, you'll pay extra.
Oh no, everything's fine. She just had a nightmare. It's all good. That's all. It's just an expression.
Give me a
Okay, good
persuasion
night.
check. Or
just an
actually
expression.
deception. No, give me a deception check.
Okay. Oh dear. No, it's not a 20.
2 or 20 minus a 0.
Okay, so it's a 4 plus 7, so 11.
Kind of looks at you. Like I said, anything broken, you'll pay double.
Okay, good night. Atlas or Ren's just going to her room.
Eggval probably would have ordered some food,
Okay.
and then I guess would probably just wait. Wouldn't sit at the same table as I guess the rest of the party that's sitting. Would probably just sit at the table next, and then just sort of while waiting for his food, just sort of watching the party, just kind of taking it in.
Mhm.
So the food got there.
So you are served. Really, the only option at this point in the night is kind of leftover salted carp with some dried leek and a tankard of probably stout or beer, whatever you would like. It would cost you about 13 copper pieces for the meal. But you're served. It takes you a little while, probably annoyingly so. Eventually, all the other patrons that were having conversations and drinks exit the happy home. And it's only all of you kind of in the main hall here. Tired, exhausted. But you're just kind of keeping an eye on the party, taking it all in.
Yeah.
By yourself.
Yeah, probably trying to enjoy the food.
To you, it's not too bad. I mean, it's just
Okay.
salted fish. It's
Yeah.
not as warm as you would like it. You can tell it was probably made earlier in the evening. This man was obviously not going to cook anything fresh for you. He seems the lazy type. Probably just warmed it up a little bit.
Okay. And then after finishing, I would I guess I'll walk my dirty dishware back over to him, and you have bed big enough?
He kind of throws the pamphlet down he was reading, and his eyes kind of go up. Not likely. I mean, you could try.
Where can sleep?
Well, we have very limited rooms left. Only one, to be exact. There? He kind of like doesn't know how to answer you.
Sleep on floor?
Wherever you'd like. 5 silver pieces for the room if you wanted. By the way, there are 2 beds in each one of these rooms. It's not just single bedrooms. And the furniture is relatively well kept. The rooms are cleaned. It's not like you're going on a stained bed or mattress. They seem kept to the best of the ability here. So it's not like a dingy inn or anything like that. seems to be in good standing.
Hey, Egg, you get drunk enough to let you sleep wherever you want. Slept on this table last night.
Uncomfortable?
Not when you're drunk enough.
Hmm. I'll take room.
I'll take Silva.
He'll try to like look for his pouch real quick and he'll take out a gold piece.
Change?
Of course. Kind of like seems shocked. You hear him go under the bar. He's sitting on a stool, and you hear jingling, probably of some sort of a pouch or a chest, and he gives you the change. It's not normal that we see a gold piece being tossed around, but okay.
I'll
And
have not
his
much.
hand is very like small compared to yours as he puts all the coins into it awkwardly.
Where room upstairs?
Upstairs, make a left, very last room on your right.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
Give me a perception check.
sure. What's my modifier before? Oh, that's 18 total.
An 18. So something interesting about this man. His features are definitely odd compared to most people that you've seen here. This is not a man. From beneath his hair, as he's kind of leaning down to get the change, you see, just for a moment, a pointed ear. And as he kind of goes back, the hair falls back over it.
Nice ears.
He kind of puts his hand up.
Fine. I'm
Shocked.
weird. It's okay. Good night.
Don't tell anyone, as you kind of are walking away.
And then I'll walk over. I guess I'll walk over to the table with the rest of the party members who are still downstairs.
Good night.
That Egg.
Not egg.
And I'll head up to my room. I'll probably put my stuff down, and since there's two beds, instead of sleeping, I guess on either one of them, I'm gonna like take the sheets off of both of them, and then I'm gonna take the mattresses off and put them on the ground, like one next to each other, like long ways, and I'm gonna unroll like my bedroll, and then put that on top, and then just sleep on the beds like that instead.
Awesome. It's not very comfortable, and eventually the beds probably begin to separate the longer the night goes, but you know, you might have to get up in the middle of the night and adjust yourself. So
Like in mud.
the remaining two of you, correct? Are the
I
only?
think
Oh, and
Isaiah's
three
down
of you.
there, yeah.
Yeah, the remaining three. Do you have anything else you wanted to do?
All right, Scales. You want to tell me why Art's laughing at him tonight? Who's Sloan?
Sloan is, well, Pedin Sloan. First name, last name. No easy way around this. He's owes me money. Been looking for him for a couple months. Can't quite find him. Surprised this guy's got a lead on him. Wasn't about to pass it up.
What kind of money he owe you? A lot?
Oh yeah.
What for?
Gave him a loan. Wanted to start out a business here in town.
Gave Sloan a loan.
Gave Sloan a loan. Yep.
A Sloan loan.
That's what we called it. But yeah,
And he's
Been
been
a-
slow on his repayment.
you could assume.
Slow to repay his loan.
Some would say Sloan's loan is little Sloan for the loan. Sorry.
No, didn't work.
Nope.
I
I
tried.
tried.
But yeah, it's
Well.
been a little too long. Trying to hunt him down. Don't really want to go back in town till I do.
Well, all right. Sure. Just if coin's all it is, just well, shit. I don't know. Who am I to tell you what to do? I'll leave it at that. I am fucking tired, so I'm gonna go get some sleep. I will see you two gentlemen in the morning.
Can't say I'll be joining you anytime soon, but I'm sure I'll see you in the morning.
And enjoy the rest of the ale. And then Calder, I'll get up, and I'll just pass by the bar and say, "Which room's the big guy in?"
Farthest one down the hall on the right.
Right, thank you. And I'll head that way, going inside and seeing him with his crazy mattress situation. I'll just say,
Yeah.
"All right." Go to
Yeah,
another
sorry,
corner of
what-
the room, roll out my bedroll, and just sleep on that.
Oh, well, yeah. So probably when you came in, I probably would have already had the bed set up and rolling in my bedroll. And you came in, and I see you start something in the corner, like, "Oh, sorry."
Nah,
And
you're fine.
and then instead I'll just take one of the mattresses and I'll put it back on top of the bed and try to make the bed, but not really do too well. Just sort of like put sheet and then comforter, not even tuck it in. Sorry.
No worries.
And
We'll leave that for the next guy. I'm sure someone else will be up eventually.
Hungry?
No, I'm all right. Just tired.
Okay.
Thanks, though.
Never introduce egg, and then I'll put my hand out.
Egg. Yeah. Sure, I think you caught my name by now, Calder. And I'll put my hand out to shake his as well.
If like people from or members of tribe call me stew seasoned, if that's preferred. Up to
Stew
you.
Season. That as your name?
Nickname
I see.
for everyone has one. Depending on depending on thing that you've done.
I see. Well, you have been quite popular for your stew this night. So I suppose that makes sense.
Thank you.
Stick with egg for now, I think.
Okay. Want to learn more of stews and other food?
No, I'm
Any
sure you will.
suggestions?
Oh, well, shit. You know how to make a good steak? Love me a nice ribeye.
Ribeye. Like from ram?
Okay. Cow. Bovine. Preferably.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah, like the big, black and white. Got the
yeah, like
others,
in chunks or
Uh,
or slabs.
slabs more like. Yeah.
Okay.
Chunks would be more for like stew. I can see why you went there.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Hmm.
Maybe try it sometime. I bet you'd be good at it.
Interested. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Now, I'm eager to be your first customer. I will talk to you in the morning, Egg.
Good night. Then I guess I'll just roll my bedroll on the floor, probably on the opposite side of the room.
Very well.
Edric will
Rest of you?
probably like stare into his drink for a little bit, keep drinking, spend the night doing that pretty much. But at some point, I'll call out just like, "So Isaiah, from around these parts."
Well, I mean, after he gets back down from fixing the bed,
I was assuming.
they'll probably no. I mean, I did a bit of traveling, but lately I'm from the big city. Well, not the big city, but Arabar.
Hey, cheers to that. You miss it? I certainly don't.
Well, I missed things.
That's fair.
My job was mostly under the city in the stinky parts, so half and half, really.
What were you doing under the city? I'm gonna like pull out my chair and start walking over to the table that he's at a little bit.
Well,
Something to do
I
with
mean,
this?
kind of. I fix things. It's what I do. So, I mean, even sewers break.
Doesn't sound like my ideal job, if I had to say.
Well, there. Not everybody gets it, but when things are better, when you leave because you showed up and did something, it feels good.
Well stated. Too well stated. Making me feel bad about that broken window now.
No, I'm sure at some point in his life he deserved it. Of
Probably
course, that's assuming that was actually his place and not like just a place he was borrowing for a while.
Those type of people, I could see it going either way. Plus, he seemed like he was a little more in the know from what the others said than he should have been.
I mean, everybody's more in the know than they tell us. That's just a fact of asking questions.
That's fair. I'm running out of ale. You want anything?
No. Well, I mean, you got any spare copper or some quartz would be really nice for this little piezo bit I'm working on. Never mind. No, I'm good.
I mean, I can ask at the bar. I don't think they'll have it, but
No, most people don't.
shame. Well, good luck with that. I'm gonna make my way over to the bar and just try and get more of whatever they were giving me last night.
Okay. Are you looking for food or just drink?
Just drinks. And that's probably what I'll spend my night doing.
Overall, probably 13 copper pieces if you're drinking late into the night.
Alright.
Apologies.
The only thing I would say is probably Atlas gets a nice show during the fixing, because when Isaiah fixes something like that, he the way he goes about it, and he will tell her like, just this is one of those things we don't talk about and we just enjoy, so make sure not to tell anybody I did this. And he actually like takes the wood pieces that are broken and starts pulling them apart, almost like they're clay threads, and stretching them and pulling them apart, and then smashing and weaving each of the two sides together so that he can mend any breaks in them. But wood, especially when he's done, you can actually still see in the grain that is all twisted and bound up and wound, but it's one solid piece afterwards.
Wow. What's your favorite animal?
I mean, ants are pretty darn good at what they do. They build a lot of things.
Wait, what?
Ants.
Ants.
You know, the little ones that crawl along the ground, they build. Well,
bugs?
most of what they build is underground, but. Well, yeah.
Ants. Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you for also fixing the bed. Thank you.
It's not a problem. I'm sure it's a very new experience.
Yeah, I learned tonight that I'm not allowed to take the bed part.
I mean,
Hmm?
it depends on if you like the people. And the innkeeps are pretty good people, so we like them. So we'll leave their bed intact.
Okay. Will you ever tell me if there's a bed I can take apart?
Oh, I'd be happy to.
Okay, cool. And she says, she waves goodnight and crawls into the little like hut thing and curls up with egg and waffles.
To you, Isaiah, it's just interesting to see. You can tell that Adlith is, I don't want to call her nervous, but you can tell that she is young, in a new environment, and it just kind of reminds you of some of your past. She's very precious.
Mm,
You can tell that she hasn't have much experience, maybe even on her own, or obviously not in a setting like this. So that dad instinct that you always talk about kind of kicks in, especially at this moment whenever she curls up with the egg and waffles, the plant pot. It just reminds you of a kid, kind of curling up with their toys.
he almost definitely spends at least like 20 seconds longer than he should, just being like, I'm gonna no, this is not a person I tuck in and kiss goodnight. I'm going to, and then awkwardly walks out. And he probably eventually is working late into the night and falls asleep right next to Frederick, probably on the same table, just not drunk.
The bartender. Go ahead, Cassis.
Sorry, what you do? I just wanted one last thing before Cassis goes to bed, but you can speak first.
The bartender doesn't bother you two. He seems like it would probably be more of a problem to kick you out than it would just to be to let you sleep there. So he doesn't really bother you as you guys pass out either in your work or your drunkenness. But go ahead, Cass.
All right. Yeah, as he would have gone to bed, first he would close the door, lock it, and if there is a desk chair or anything like that.
There's no chairs. There's two separate beds. There's probably a nightstand, but there's no chairs in the rooms now.
Okay. He would take the nightstand and just shove it against the door.
Okay.
And then get in the bed. Kind of, he would pull out that pocket watch, and it's a very nice crafted bronze pocket watch with the etchings of AT on it. And he'd look at it and think, and kind of just speak to himself, kind of out into the ether, like, "Oh, I hope you're okay. I hope they're leaving you alone." And then he would reach into get that piece of paper out with that picture on that he was asking about, and kind of sit in bed and just kind of talk out loud. I was like, all right, you've given me info before. You've been very helpful in the past. Any information would just be lovely. All right, and kind of just focus on that as he just kind of closes his eyes and just tries to go to sleep.
Yeah, and as you lay your head down onto the bed, you feel on your chest a cat. Your friend has found himself into your room.
I don't know. Okay, good night. Good night. And those scritches as I go to sleep.
He purrs, and he eventually curls up next to you. But all of you eventually find a night's rest after a very, very long day here in the small town of Elbador. Morning comes. The two of you that had slept in the main room here of the inn are woken up quite early by patrons that are beginning to frequent this place, looking for breakfast and probably just a hangover cure in general from the bartender, which seems to have changed once again. So yeah, it's pretty busy here in the town, and eventually all of you kind of wake up and reconvene in the inn here. It is the familiar lady that you had saw the night previous, but she is serving drinks, not less alcoholic, but breakfast very furiously as the inn is beginning to slowly get packed here on a new day of Albador. The morning sun kind of peering in through the windows. The door is propped open, kind of leaving in this nice, cool, springish breeze. Very refreshing as you all make your way downstairs.
Good morning, everyone. How did you sleep?
Good morning. Not so
Good
bad.
morning.
I've had worse tables.
I I slept good. Waffle slept okay, and Egg had a bit of trouble sleeping. Not
Can you
not
tell
not
when?
not that egg. This egg. She holds up.
Morning.
How did you like sleeping in a room on a bed? How was that experience for you?
The bed was nice. It's much softer than I mean, furs can be pretty soft, but softer than the grass and stuff. But it was nice sleeping under the stars, even inside.
Well, that's nice. But Cassis has no idea about that.
Hmm. Well,
Well,
we'll be in the woods for a few days, it sounds like, so
yeah.
hopefully you'll get plenty of stars.
Indeed.
Has
Oh,
anybody heard of the Looming Grove? That's where we're supposed to go.
yeah. Adlith Eggval. Does that sound familiar? I can't remember if you guys, if you happen to know it.
I
Um,
looked at Adlith.
I don't, but I am wondering if I have a friend who lives in Chondalwood. Uh, she's a druid. I'm wondering if maybe she would know. She's quite old.
That sounds like a good place to start.
Yeah.
Well,
Eggfall, go ahead and roll me a history check for me.
Sure. Since this is the Chondalwood, I'll use my mushroom die. Wait, you said history, right?
Mhm.
Ooh, that's a. Where's history? Alphabet, don't fail me now. That's a big old 8.
You don't know? Oh, you never heard of that place either.
Well, I guess maybe after breakfast we can go. Now, just for to be fair for everyone, I'm the one who signed the contract. So if you don't want to go, that's no hard feelings, but I kind of have to.
I mean,
My
at this
home.
point, we've pretty much stuck more than we're past the nose and into the whole heads into the business. So, we're probably all going to need some information from this Cade fella.
I think we are at least mildly committed.
He's been following all of us, so I don't really think backing out of this is going to do anyone any favors.
Want to look for ingredients, so sure. Oh, and magic water sounds cool.
Mm-hmm. There's
I wonder, what if the woman that gave you waffles, I wonder if she would know anything about it.
She might. There's a lot of secrets that revolve around the Chondalwood. Did you know that there's apparently a mysterious city in it that people don't know if it's true or not?
I don't think I did know that.
Never heard that
Mhm.
one.
You
Very
think
good
gnomes
information
live
to know.
there?
Oh,
You think gnomes live there? We need to meet gnomes, right?
Well, there's
Yeah,
gnomes in the Chondalwood, yes. There
uh,
used to be some in my tribe.
did you ever meet anyone from the Enjoy clan that Snow was talking about?
Has she term?
You can give me probably not. But
Never traded with them?
give me a history check. Just to see if you've heard of them or know somebody that may have come in contact with them. You personally probably haven't. But yeah, no. You've seen gnomes.
Not
You've never
one.
heard of
No.
the Enjoy.
No. They must be joyful though. It's in their name.
Well, Snow seemed to think that they would be kind of vicious. So I think anything that we can learn potentially from your friend or from Castia might be a good idea before we go blindly, asking mean gnomes for information about a
Okay.
source of water that we don't know anything about what it does.
Magic water.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I mean, as
Magic
long as
water.
we find it, I could probably figure out what it does.
Okay.
I'm like,
Let's go see
wait,
the herbalist.
Calder, what do you think you know?
Uh, tell you what, y'all feel free. Go with Adleth. Magic Water's ringing some kind of. I'll meet you. I'll meet up with you later, and I'm just gonna get up and leave.
Bye.
Sure you want to go by yourself?
You
I do owe you from last
you
night.
want company?
No, I'm all right.
All right.
Exit. I'm gonna make my way straight to the temple.
Alrighty. The rest of you are heading to Castius.
Mm-hmm.
Guess so.
Okay.
Just before we leave, I do take this bundle of scraps that I put together overnight and I twist a key in the back and then pop it out and put it on my shoulder and it pops up its head and it's a little owl. And one eye is a pearl and the other eye is just an open glass bead and it starts moving its head around and looking around, sitting on my shoulder.
Eggvol's eyes are wide.
Mm-hmm.
It's
How do that?
Oh, well, you see, all you need is the right little spark inside to get things moving. And then once it gets moving, it sort of wants to stay moving. And you just got to occasionally give it a little bit of fuel, keep it going. But he's grandfather. He's going to keep an eye out for me and be helpful on occasion.
Wait, he's your grandfather? He's owl though.
No, he's an owl. He's everybody's grandfather.
He doesn't look like my grandfather.
Never
My
met
grandfather
grandfather.
was like tall and had gray fur. And
I think it's just what he's
Your grand-
calling it.
I think it's just a
Your
name.
grandfather was smart and wise and knew all the things, right? Probably,
Oh,
maybe a
like
little
an
tough old man.
owl.
Yes,
Smart.
exactly.
Smart.
During this
Okay.
conversation, Cassis is actually going to try to slip away and follow Calder.
Ooh. Without anybody noticing, or you're gonna get up and follow behind him.
I'm gonna try to make sure he doesn't see me, but I'll try to slip away from. I'll be like, I gotta
Intrigue.
go check on something real quick, so I'm gonna follow him.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
Everyone check
Come
out
on, die.
things.
Don't
My
fuck me.
passive
don't
perception
fuck
is
me.
garbage. So
God.
not too great.
Mine's
Yeah.
19.
Still, that's an 11.
My
Is
passive's
it-
10. You're good.
Yeah, I was gonna say your passive. I thought it was 10 or 11. I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Bye, Castus. Adleth will like call after him.
I'll
Should
put in
we
my
wait?
wood. I put my wood like no, and kind of wave as I just exit after.
Well, seems like it's just the five of us.
Let's go
Mm-hmm.
talk to a herbalist.
Mm-hmm. I'll lead the way. And Adleth will pick up Egg and pick up Waffle and put him in the bag and head out.
Okay. So while you guys are searching for Castias, actually, you'll probably make it to Castias before Calder make it to the monastery. You see outside Castia, seeming to still be kind of picking up after last night's attack. She's sweeping the cobblestone, cleaning up some glass. It seems to be one of her front windows were smashed out. She looks at all of you in surprise. Oh, I wasn't expecting all of you. Hello.
Hi.
Good morning.
We have some questions.
Of course. Well, come in. Come in. And she hurriedly sets the broom up against the building, and she rushes in to a door that seems to be have broken in on the hinges. So the door is just kind of hanging open, leaving the sunlight to pour in. As you all enter, file in behind her. Inside, you see a large, what looks like a counter, with all sorts of different vials filled with all manners of liquids. Some small, and thin, kind of like test tube like, some larger, kind of round beakerish, a whole bunch of different stuff. Go ahead, actually. Who's probably Isaiah is the only person that would give me a Arcana check The
Oh,
rest of the
Brandon?
building behind you, you see all sorts of herbal-like elements. You see all sorts of roots and weeds and plants and some lavender that seems to be drying and hanging from the ceiling in big bushels that hangs down. All different types of flowers, exotic and some more common than others. The place is packed full of different books. Go ahead.
14.
14, you do not recognize anything off the bat. But you can tell that she at least has worked in some sort of alchemy. But you're not too sure what these liquids are.
We walk through. I'm just like grabbing something, like reading the label and like putting it back down, just as we go.
So you have questions for me? She kind of hurriedly shuffles behind the counter.
Yeah, but we're not sure if you can help or not. But you seem like you've been around this area for a while. Have you been in Elbador for long?
I have, my dear, many, many years now. She kind of tries to think back. Too many for me to even remember.
We heard about a special grove nearby called the Looming Grove. Have you heard of that?
Kind of thinks for a moment.
Supposed to have some fancy water there, if that rings any bells.
Looming Grove. The name doesn't ring a bell, but talking about the Chondalwood, there are many mysteries inside of it. Apologies, that name does not sound familiar.
That's okay. I think so. Have
Maybe.
you heard of? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we somehow it is connected to a clan of gnomes in the woods called the Enjoy Clan.
The
Are you
Enjoy
familiar with them?
Clan? I am. Oddly enough. They used to be customers of mine whenever I was frequenting other parts of the world. In my travels when I was younger, like all of you, made some deals for some specific herbs. As of late, they're hard to come by. They are what we call them as ghostwise halflings. Odd sub-race of gnome halfling breed. I don't know how to explain them. They're odd. But they're very elusive and generally isolated from the outside world. Curious. Why do you ask?
Do you know how we could get in contact with them, maybe?
No, my dear. They usually would find me, almost knowing that I was arriving. Rather nomadic.
I'm like still just
Uh,
picking up vials and stuff. I'm like, arriving where? Where'd they find you?
Be careful with that one. Well, like I said, I frequent the wood itself often. When I was younger, I would go into deeper parts, for specific herbs and things. It's herbs that seemed like only they would have. I made contact with them, let's say, and acquired some of these things, and I began to go back to the same place where I first contacted them, and we struck a few deals here and there, but hard to communicate with. Rather savage. I don't know why they even left me alive, but
Interesting. And this place you would go back to, could you give us a direction or something? Maybe we'll start there if these do turn out to be something we need to find.
it's a journey. 20 miles or so towards the northern part of the forest. It was the first time, but like I said, they migrate a lot. The second time I met them, I was farther south. that was the most recent time, about a few weeks ago. You might want to head south. But like I said, if they're rather territorial as well. If they know that you're approaching on their territory, they will stop you.
Do you have any tips on dealing with them?
Listen to them. Give me a persuasion check.
It's a nat one.
Oh
Ooh.
man.
Like I said, they can be savage, and rather unforgiving.
Did any of
Okay.
these help us finding them? I have like 4 bottles. Just like
You probably really don't want to be, especially mixing things. That's a bad idea. You might want to put those down
She kind of
gently.
grabs both of them from you, sets them back down. Not particularly. They're rather special, but
Well, I'll kind of look at the others and say, I can't really think of anything else to ask about the Looming Grove, but do you
Oh.
know? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you were looking for something specific, a specific herb that only they might have, is that because of its location that we might be able to find them by finding it?
not entirely. It seems like they gather it themselves. It was rather hard to find, and only when I did find it, it was specifically in their possession. It actually helped me make this, and she shakes one of the vials.
What is it?
Ah, my dear, this is a potion of climbing.
Oh.
Interesting enough, these halflings or gnomes, whatever you would like to call them, they do not like to stick to the ground, and they're rather, they're interestingly enough, they seem to frequent the trees more than the ground itself. The first one I encountered was riding a boar, nonetheless.
Wow.
Like them already.
Wait, so is boar really big?
Not compared to you, my friend.
You are big, then there's normal like me, well, more like Ren, and then there's small, half or gnome or tend to be small, like your knee.
Oh,
Yeah, so the vial she's holding up, it's sort of a thinner one. It kind of looks like an hourglass almost. The liquid inside is separated into a couple different layers. There's a brown, silver, and gray layers that kind of look like different bands as they go around um, the bottle itself. And whenever she picks it up and like is moving it around, it doesn't seem like the bands mix. It just seems like even if she would tilt it, the bands stay layered on one another. It looks interesting.
Well, I can't think of any more questions about the Looming Grove, but do you know, if you've been here for a long time, do you know anything about the history of Elbador? Anything like special or magical, or any myths or anything?
Well, I came here after it was rebuilt, but what I know of this place is it was destroyed during the plague completely. They say the Order wanted it built mainly for its income logging operation for the being so close to the wood. History is not my expertise, dear. If there was a history, I would not be the one to ask.
Okay.
Apologies.
That's fine. I was just, you said you'd been here for a while, so I didn't know. Never heard of anything called the Moonstone then.
No. Curious.
Do I believe her?
Inside check.
God fucking damn it. Ah! What is that? It's a 7.
She's hard to read. She seems innocent.
Okay.
I mean, you bring up a good point. Have you? No. After it was rebuilt, you probably didn't find any interesting glass around, did you?
Glass.
Obsidian. It's a dark glass.
I know what obsidian is, but no. It's an odd thing to find here in this part of the world.
That's what I would thought. It's usually like in mountains or something, right?
I'm no expert.
Usually by volcanoes,
Yeah.
most common found.
you
There's
go.
no volcanoes around here.
Well,
I sure
I
hope
hope
not.
not.
past the woods, but
Maybe someday we'll go find some. Well, I mean, I hate to say this. I mean, you've got a lovely shop here. I don't suppose you've got anything on the lighter end of the budget.
Well, kind of starts digging through some of the things. I have these, and she pulls out 2 vials. Potions of healing.
Ooh.
I know that if you're looking for something budgeted, these might not be the best, but since you did help the town, I could knock off some of the price.
I mean,
Me.
that could certainly be helpful. What are we talking here?
She has 2 potions, rather small, but like it's a red liquid that kind of glimmers whenever it's shaken around. Times are tough. I would say 20 gold for both of them.
Oh,
You,
that seems like
you
a
see,
pretty good deal.
you see the most clueless eye blinking from Adlith as she's been wandering around the store. Coin, coin.
Yeah.
I have
That-
gold.
That could be pretty useful. We could all throw in like 4 gold and then, have them for the party. We never know what we're going to run into out in the woods.
I mean, I could swing that. It would certainly be useful if we run into any more of those imp things.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sure Adlet's got some friends that are got big teeth and don't like new people that much.
Yeah. Red egg Adlith, what do you guys think?
Adlith will hand Ren a really, really worn-looking leather pouch. There's how much in it? 10? Yeah, there's 10 gold pieces in it. She doesn't understand. From the look in her eyes, she doesn't understand what's happening. She thinks this is some sort of trade. But like the concept of this coin is like confusing to her.
Red's gonna take your money bag and just kind of look at it and look at you and then look at okay. And she counts out 4 gold and she hands it back to you and she goes, "Okay, don't give this to anyone else, okay? You hold on to it. Don't just hand it to
Okay.
people." Okay. Okay, good.
I've had it for a long time. I've never used it.
It shows. Egg, do you understand 4 gold?
I have and what is it? He's gonna like rummage into like his little sack and pull out most of his pieces and is gonna pull out 3 gold pieces and looking at them they seem very very old and worn. Yeah. Yeah, they just seem like very old and worn. I guess if there are any kind of like prints that would be on gold pieces, I'm not 100% sure. But if there were, there's not really much of them anymore. And he'll just kind of hand them over. I have 3.
Okay, that's fine. I can cover. Are you guys in?
I'm a little light on
Of
gold
course.
right now. Spare 3. Guess I got 3 and some silver.
Okay. So, what's that? Put us at 10. Can you do 5? I can do 5 if you can do 5.
This is a worthy enough cause. Here's.
Okay.
Oh, it hurts.
All right, we will hand over 20 gold.
Thank you, and apologies. It seemed like that was a difficult choice, but like I said, times are tough. And she kind of
Oh.
sticks it into a pouch. You hear it clank into some other change.
It's-
Hands
it's-
you a small little wooden box with the 2 vials. Here,
Thank you.
make sure to put them to good use.
I hope we don't need them. Better to have them if we do. What are those? Just regular healing potions?
Yes.
Okay. Does
2
anybody
potions of
else want to
healing.
carry them?
Mm.
Or I can carry them. It's fine. Either way.
You look little and quick. You're probably the best person to have them.
I am kind of little and quick. Yeah. Okay. I can hang on to them.
All
Okay.
right, and while that is going on, we're going to go to the other 2 that are heading towards the monastery. Cass is going, slipping between buildings, dodging between this building, kind of peeking. Calder just on a mission, not recognizing it
Yeah.
as being followed straight to the monastery.
Yeah. When I get there, I guess I'll see if the door's open.
You reach for the handle and you push it open. It is open. And inside you see Hestel cleaning once again. He seems that he's picked up all of the knocked over pews and he's beginning to clear most of the rubble into a central spot here. Hello again.
Yeah, howdy there, Histel. Is Master Mastel around?
He is. One moment. And he sets
Thank you.
one of the brooms down and heads into the back door that you had seen him go into before.
I would try to once he steps in, I'll try to slip in and hide behind a pew or something like that.
Okay. At this point, I'm going to need another stealth check.
So
That's
they're right
fair.
behind me.
Roll terrible. Roll
Alright.
so bad.
Don't fuck me. Oh, that's not great. This dice, my dice are betraying me. That's an 8.
So, Caldor, as Hestel disappears in to the downstairs, you hear as you see an arm kind of above a pew at the moment, and you see
Is he? So if I was standing like maybe like a step or 2 into the door when I asked and I'm waiting, right?
Mhm.
Would he have had to like slip behind me?
yeah, like he would he probably snuck in behind you and then probably tripped on whatever the mess was and fell into some of the pews.
Okay, I'll just look over. Do I see a hand? I don't
Yeah,
see
you probably
him.
see his arm draped over like one of the pews.
I'll just step over and look over the pew.
Hey, I'll write myself. Hey, I didn't know you're coming here.
Oh,
What's up?
sure.
Yeah. How are you?
At this point, you hear, oh, I wasn't expecting you back so soon.
Master Mastel. Just a moment, if you'd please. Castus, you got something you want to ask me?
No, I didn't know you're coming this way, and I thought, hey, I'll head to the temple, see how things are going, and
Mhm.
lo and behold, here you are.
Here I am.
Yeah. You know what? I'll just wait over here, wait till you're done, and then we can go meet the
Sure.
others.
Yeah, maybe we should have a word on our way back. I'll be with you in one moment.
All right.
All right. And I'm gonna walk over to Master Mastel. Sir,
How can I help you?
let's say, and I'm kind of keeping my voice down, trying not to be overheard. I cast us on the other side of the room?
I'm trying to listen as hard as I can.
I bet
Give
you
me a
are.
perception check.
Okay, I'm doing a different die. This dice screwed me over. Let's do my jade die. Here we go. Oh, much better. Perception, that would be a 19.
Okay. Probably gets. He can hear you.
Okay. Uh,
You wouldn't have, but
let's say I believe you that my whatever this magic ability I have is coming from something divine, whether it be your father or something else. I have dreams. That's why I asked the other day, yesterday. I keep fucked. It's been the longest day ever. Sometimes it's less of a, most of the time, honestly, it's less of a clear communication. It's more a jumble. Feelings, emotions, a lot of the time. Sometimes I feel pushed in one direction or the other. I see things, people, places. Last night, I saw certain movements, articulation of hands, words that felt meaningful, powerful in some fashion, and I feel like I might be able to do more than I showed you yesterday, and in order to accomplish that, it feels like something's missing. We recently had a conversation about magic water. If my power is divine, maybe that could help. Do you have holy water about?
I would, but to be honest with you, my boy, I don't think any material thing would be able to aid you. I can sense something on you. Whether or not it is the father, I cannot tell you. And how you are gaining these abilities, I cannot tell you at all either. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Is he having a stroke? Can I?
He is. He just died of old age in front of you. I cannot tell
Heals.
you
No.
either. But what I can tell you is that you are being guided something far powerful and far greater than yourself. You should trust the dream, trust the word, let them guide you. No magic is going to be able to lead you if it is the father or some other deity of the pantheon. And they are talking to you. That means you're special. I am not a practitioner of anything arcane to say, and I know nothing about this water you speak of. And I know for a fact that anything that I have would not be able to help you. You are touched, my child, and I just bid you to trust the words that you are hearing.
All right. Well, thank you, I suppose.
Take
I'll,
this. And he kind of reaches into his pocket, and he pulls out just a small wooden carving of Ilmater, and he puts it in your hands. You may not trust or believe in what we do here, but the Father, he believes that in those who have been suppressed or misjudged or in pain. May not be for you, but maybe one way that you could reach others or use it somehow. And he kind of puts it in your hand. I apologize, I could not be much more help, but hopefully this shows you some guidance.
Yeah. Hopefully. I'll slip the symbol in a pouch at my belt. Thanks. Yeah, have a good day, Father. And I'll head
Good
out.
luck.
On
Outside
way
the
to
door, you probably see Cassis is like leaning
Yeah.
intently,
Yeah, I'll just
listening.
As
kind of none too gently grab him by the arm and just continue walking. You got a bad habit of listening in, huh?
I have a quick question for you. As you're
Mhm.
pulling me along, I go, ow, ow. Does it have a name?
Does what have a name?
In your dreams? Does it ever talk to you directly? Does it have a name? And I pull out my pistol, not threateningly, I just kind of hold it, and showing it to you is like, this isn't my original. I found a different one when I was a lot younger. It was in a junkyard. But I had a dream one day, and my friend, he calls himself Zafin. He told me, "Go play in there. You might find something interesting." I went. I found it. It was a lot more beaten up than this one. This is nice. This is actually from my very very close friend of mine. I put it back, but Zafin told me where to go, and I get dreams every so often. Like when I found myself, I left my actual home and found myself elsewhere. He's the one who told me, go there, and then go here. You'll find somewhere safe, and I did. Oh, just out of curiosity, does it have a name?
So someone who speaks to you in your dreams named Zafin. DM, 2 questions.
Mhm.
Have I ever seen a gun
In where you
other
have
than
come
him
from,
last night?
um, hmm, eh, curious enough, you probably have.
Okay.
Being that close to the water, those not so kind people, you have seen them on very, very rare occasions. Only on people that
Okay.
seem to be some sort of prominence, or have traveled that are seaworthy individuals.
Gotcha.
But you recognize the instrument. You don't know exactly what it is or how it's used.
Okay. I mean, other than what I saw him do
Exactly.
last night.
Exactly.
And Zafin, does that ring any bells?
Go ahead and roll me a history check.
Ooh, no, 6.
It does not. And at this point, as you two are walking, kind of going down the path that leads you back towards the Elbador, Culver, you almost trip over a large gray ball of fur as a cat is kind of scurrying in front of you. You hear it going,
shit.
"Meow!" And it kind of snuggles up past or up to Castus. You guys are
Yep.
continuing pace with both.
Sorry about that, little guy.
It's underfoot. It's okay.
I'll tell you what. I will tell you a little bit more about my dream if you tell me where you're really from.
Okay. I'm from originally Erebar.
You ever
And
actually been in Nimfeth?
no, no.
Then-
I just I know of it. But
then
I'm
the-
from Erebar, and kind of the most I feel comfortable saying. Erebar is not exactly somewhere I ever want to go back.
Fair enough. No, I've never gotten a name. Rarely even words, to be honest with you. As I'm sure you overheard, and I kind of just glare at you a little bit. Mostly thoughts and feelings, vivid, very quickly passing imagery a lot of the time. It's honestly hard to parse out. The reason I'm here is I got vague directions, I saw a few things that matched up. And I kind of look back from like towards the temple from where we're walking and point to the symbol of Ilmater above the door. I saw that. And Redrick. I saw him. That's why
Oh.
when I approached you two in the bar, I had just come into town, saw the tussle with the sheriff, saw him, thought I should, I don't know, get myself in there somehow. I have a hard time figuring out exactly what I'm supposed to do with these things. I just try to go where I'm pushed.
Oh, well, that's kind of the opposite of what I'm doing. I'm trying to go away from people, areas. It's
Yeah, I
not
understand.
great.
I understand a little bit about getting away as well.
And just out of curiosity, you mentioned magic, right? It's something that you did something.
Yeah.
And I kind of reach in, just grab a random item, like a gold coin, and kind of hold it up, and he looks at Calder a minute, try to really just kind of take him in, and if you looking at him, you see his eyes suddenly. His eyes are typically very dark brown, with nothing spectacular. But as he kind of looks at him, his eyes flare a brilliant, bright blue, as the coin suddenly begins to light. Is it something like this?
Exactly like that, actually.
Okay. Oh,
Huh.
yeah. That is something that has to stay between me and you, because from my experience, there aren't a lot of people like us around, and that can draw attention to people I'm trying to avoid.
Seems like most people around here don't take too kindly to the arcane. Or whatever the fuck this is.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do apologize for following you. It takes me a little bit of effort to kind of trust people, and I wasn't sure if you were going to go talk to people that might know things. So
Yeah, that's fair.
that's all. So,
I understand.
yeah.
I don't. Let's just say I'd rather lie low as well. And I'm just now realizing that I'm still holding onto your arm. I'll kind of relax my grip and just sort of pat you on the shoulder. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I've had worse. You should meet my mother.
Well, shit. If that's your, if that's how you describe her, I'd not. Let's find our way back to the group. Get out into these damn Chondalwood.
Yeah.
Eventually, go ahead.
I pick up the cat and we go.
Eventually, you all reconvene in the streets of Eldor. You all see Caldor and Cassis walking together down the main street. You guys see probably a little bit impatiently at this point the rest of your group waiting for all of you.
Can Adlet actually have lingered back in the shop for a second?
Sure.
Same, actually.
Um, when Ren and Redrick leave to go wait, Adlet has been like looking at the flowers, and she says, Astia, do you have any lotuses?"
She's kind of thinking for a second, and she begins. One moment, and she goes behind the counter, begins rummaging. I don't see anything here. And she holds up a finger. Let me check in the back. It's a very rare flower. Only come from very specific parts of the wood. Let me check.
You see, she's got her fingers crossed, and she waits quietly.
You take a little bit, and eventually Egg rolls in beside you at this point. Just as she comes back out, and she holds this little, what looks like a small book, and she opens it, and it has these pages, rummaging through them. And as she is, you can see that these are pressed flowers that she's trying to keep, and it is like stacked full. You can see petals like kind of falling out. Lotus, and I have this one, and it is white, pressed, and it seems like it has been kept. You can see there is some kind of tannish coloring on the outside of the petals, so it is a little bit older, but it has been kept. It is about that size, rather big, but she brings it. May I ask why you're looking for this?
A gift. Do you know the other name for a lotus?
Do tell, my dear. I know many
A wren.
languages, but Ren.
Mhm.
Of course. That's very sweet. Um, Here, you can have it. Comes along with.
You
I
see,
know you spent a lot on the potions.
oh, you see her eyes light up as she takes it, and she'll reach into her own herbalism kit and pull out maybe like a little like glass kind of box thing that she has that would usually hold herbs, and she probably just dumps it in her bag and empties it out and like puts the pressed flower in it and says, "Thank you, thank you."
You're
And
welcome.
she gives a
Don't forget to
little.
take care of the plant.
Oh, I watered it and I cuddled it last night when we went to bed.
Keeping it warm, I suppose.
I'll see you out there, Egg. And Adlith will wave to Eggful and kind of little deer hops out.
Okay.
She is indeed precious. She kind of seems giddy at the moment, closes the book and sticks it underneath the shelf. What can I do for you, my big friend?
You speak giant?
I do not, but why do you ask?
Um, it would just help make it easier is all. I wanted to ask, I know you've got a bunch of herbs and roots and stuff. If you had anything maybe a little different, made more for cooking.
Hmm. What are you looking for in particular?
Anything with an interesting taste, maybe something that smells a bit better. Um, I don't know, maybe something like what's the word? Something like meaty or bitter. Anything of the sort. Just
Um,
or something that might give food a interesting quality, possibly.
I suppose we have all sorts of things like that here. You're not looking for anything for specific. She kind of turns around and picks off two of these red. They seem to be dried, thin-looking herbs. They're
I
rather
guess any
spicy.
okay.
I crush them up and add them to things like meat and other things like that.
I guess I'm kind of looking for anything a little not from around the area. Something weird.
Well, they call these chilies. Not native to this part of the world.
Do you mind?
Um, I would have to charge you for them.
I just want to smell, that's all.
Oh,
I promise.
okay. And she kind of like hands them to you.
I'll just kind of like just like rub them with like my fingertips and then like smell it and then like smell like my fingertips and just kind of like taste it.
Very
Not
hot
not
to your
yeah
tongue.
yeah. Ooh, that's nice. Mm.
Comes from one of the deserts to the north. At least that's what the person told me when I bought it.
I like it something different. Um, How much? And then I'll hand it back.
5 copper pieces for the 2.
You said to put it with meats, right? Anything else, maybe?
To lose anything that you can really, if you're wanting to make it spicy.
Okay. Sure. All right. And I'll hand over 2 copper pieces.
Thank you.
And
Quicksilver puts it in the pouch.
I'll what is it? I'll take off like my pack and kind of like rummage, like rummage through, and I'll take out a like a cloth with like a little bit of, I guess, like a leather strap. Um, and then I'll put, what is it? I'll put the 2 chilies in like in the cloth and like wrap it in like a strap. And what is it? I'll put it in I'll put it like in a specific sort of like pouch that hangs off of like the side, um and pop my pack back on. Thank you. It's very nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you. Curious, though, the markings on your face. Can I see them for a moment?
Okay.
Kind of lean down. She takes her hand and just pushes your head slightly to the side. I thought so. The Smoking Mountains, yes?
uh how'd you know?
I've met some of the tribes, Goliath tribes, out there long, long time ago. Um, the Ash Plain houses brown dragons. At least it used to. I'm not too sure anymore, but looking for scales for a project of mine, long time.
I don't like dragons. Dragons are mean, devious, bad. Scales. Hmm. Maybe we still have scales. I don't know. More as trophies, probably. Not sure. Have to ask.
That's all right. I wasn't asking to inquire about any. It just reminded me of times past.
Okay. Um. All right. Well, thank you for your time. It was nice to see you again. Thank you for you said chilies, cold
Chilies.
chilies.
Yeah.
Or thank you for the chilies. It's appreciated. Um.
Don't add
uh,
too many.
so just one then, or half of one.
Half of one. Make sure it's ground real fine before you put it in anything.
Okay. Um. I'm sorry that your window's broken. By the way.
Ha! Nothing we can't fix.
All right. Well, have a nice day. Thank you for the help and the chilies.
Good luck.
And I'm just gonna walk out.
Ren, 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 Ren.
Well, shit.
The Atlas is like comes hopping out of the little herbalist store. She has something like covered in her hands.
What's up?
Close your eyes.
Oh, okay.
Please?
I'm gonna do like the.
She reaches out and she takes Ren's free hand and like gentle. And this was when Ren would notice, because it's the first time that they've touched. Atlas is covered in this very short but like uberly soft fur. Like like when like little like animals have like the baby fur.
Yeah, that velvet fur.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what she feels like. And she
Ren like
turns
kind
over
of
her
flinches at
hand.
first and is like, okay.
She turns it over and she places the box in her hand and says, "For you."
Oh, it's really pretty. Thank you.
It's called a wren.
Is it?
Well,
Has-
it's more commonly known as a lotus, but the alternative name for it is wren. It's spelled different, but it sounds the same.
it, I didn't know that. I didn't. I didn't know there was a flower for this name. That's nice.
Mhm. Thank you for teaching me, like, not to break beds.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's just like a standing rule for any human home you go into, just so you know.
And thank you for counting my money correctly and giving me the rest back.
Yeah. You shouldn't trust everybody to do that.
No, but I trust you.
Thanks. I trust you too. And
I'm
she's
bad
gonna
at
tuck her
counting.
flower away. Okay, well, I'm pretty good at counting.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I learned young.
Hi,
Hey, it actually just reminded me. I also need to get a gift real quick. I'll be right back. Kind of like pass by egg on the way in.
Leave the windows alone this time.
We're never getting out into the
I'll
damn
try.
Chondalwoods.
Mine's
Well,
quick.
y'all came in, you left, and now you're back. I must be the shop
Right.
owner.
The Adel reminded me. Black flower. Got any?
Anything in specific?
Anything black, it'll do.
Well, I can dye all sorts of flowers. One moment. Tulip.
All right, perfect. How much? Start like getting ready to pull it
Just
out.
a copper piece.
There you go. Thank you for your time. Should meet my friends. All right. I just like right out the door.
Oh my god, the cat.
All right,
All
I'm
right.
good. From here.
What do you need a flower for?
Hmm.
I have a friend of mine back home. She's into him. Likes the black one specifically. I don't think she has this. Maybe she probably does, but how am I to know?
Gonna meet her?
If we go back to town, sure. She would probably hate you. No offense.
Why?
She's not into fluffy things.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry,
Some
I
people
don't
just
hate
like
you.
to be angry.
Thank you.
It is official now. Redrick hates Atlas.
Redrick also enjoys kicking puppies.
All right, so you all gather your things, and you are going to head in what direction towards the Chondalwood?
At list, I think
What do you
that's
guys wanna do?
kind of your bailiwick.
What is the
Yeah.
plan?
Where was Lillian located?
So funny enough, Lillian was probably up farther north, towards where your village would have been located. She'd wander, on occasions. When you did see her at her hut, um, it was not too far off, from your village itself. So
we
the
were told
northern
this.
parts.
We were told this Enjoy clan of gnomes that they would know where the Looming Grove is. They were to the south, right?
We were told that they wander. Last time was a bit farther south. The time before that she saw them, they were a bit north. And I believe we were told the pool itself was north of town.
So,
Oh.
if we want, I can take us towards my hut. And Lillian's not too far from there, and she's in the Chondalwood. If the tribes are moving, she would probably have a good idea whereabouts.
Well,
If
Quick
she
thought.
doesn't know, if she doesn't know, maybe they move following, I don't know, food
mhm.
or shelter, depending on time of year.
Quick thought before we just run out of town. Sorry to interrupt. This is great. Great stuff going on here. Do we just want to run out of town after we promised the mayor we'd be trying to figure out what's going on here? Should we check in? Before we just disappear?
I mean, doesn't Snow know about imps? So if we help Snow, then technically he can help Mayor.
Right, but hear me out. Outsiders come into town looking strange. Imp attack, outsiders leave.
She
Yeah,
already
it
said
might
she'd
be a.
clear our name, though, right?
That's true.
We
I
could
see your
probably just
point,
leave.
though.
We could
A
probably just
check-in on
leave
the way out
word.
might be good. Or that.
Yeah.
True. Just a thought. I mean, I'm cool with leaving.
Why don't we just pass by the building? I'm sure there's some guard
Yep.
outside or something we can leave word with.
Mhm.
Let's go.
I
That's
say,
fine.
my vote is to head north, though, towards Lillian. I had wandered out in the Chondalwood with Eggball for a bit, but I don't know where the clan is, so she's probably be the best bet to ask.
It's as good a place to start as any.
The only thing I'm thinking about though is I believe you said it was quite a ways up to where you lived.
Hmm.
Like much farther than to either the pool or wherever else we might be going.
I thought the pool was northern to Adlith's.
I don't think it would be that far. If I said that, I was mistaken.
It's north from the
Oh.
town for
It's
sure.
north of Elbador.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
we
you're
can-
pretty much set pretty far north is where you.
Yeah.
Okay, we can always just take a look around and, head in the loose direction of
true.
north. See if we come across anything on the way, and if not, we have a destination in mind.
Yeah.
Listen,
It's not a bad idea.
think I speak for everyone here when I say we're going to default to your judgment. Because I have never been in Chondalwood.
Not
Okay.
familiar myself either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you get lost, just ask the trees.
Not all of us are quite as good at that as you are, but
Hmm.
I'm sure we'll try and ask whoever we can.
Yeah.
Okay. And term for note for the traveling. I'll post it because it's got a lot to it, Canny Explorer.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, difficult travel doesn't slow us. I have advantage on wilderness hazard checks. We can move stealthily at a normal pace, and she can guide. She can do that with up to 6 creatures. So basically, we can move stealthily at a normal pace.
Mm-hmm.
Whole group can, if Adlith is leading.
Okay. And I'm
So it's just
assuming
something
you
to keep in mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Lead the way.
You all gather your
Voice.
things as whatever you probably had brought on your backs to get to Elbador, and you kind of head in an eastward direction out of town, passing by a rather tall wall. Are you guys heading to the mayor's office, by the way? Did you want to do that before? Or are you
I'm
guys
going to
leaving
walk
town?
by, I think. See if there's
Okay.
like a guard in front.
Yeah.
You do
Right.
see Podrick kind of leaning up against a chair, rocking up against the building, picking at his fingernails. He sees all of you. Oh, hello.
Hey, Paudrick. We're you've been informed, I assume, by the mayor. We're helping out, looking into things.
I know you're here. That's what he
Great.
says.
Well, we're following a lead, so we're gonna be out of town for indeterminate amount of time, hoping to find something. Can you let the mayor know?
So you're leaving.
We'll be back.
You're leaving and you'll be back. I'll
Yes.
let her know.
That's
He
right.
just keeps rocking. Kinda go-
Okay. Is there any
Spits
other
at
guard
you.
around?
Not that you see. Sitting outside, it's just Podrick.
I mean, if
We'd
you
like
do
to
want,
return
we could just write a note real quick. Hey, Mayor, we're leaving. Just leave it with him. Yeah, that's a good idea. So
Yeah.
write a quick note. Respectful, but something Isaiah thinks of that I can't right now. And just let you know, we're following leads to get information on who might be responsible for the attack.
He takes it, sticks it into his shirt, just inside it. Rocks. She'll get it.
Hey, Patrick, you handle something right here. Sort of just
No,
all
no.
over, honestly.
Yeah.
Never mind.
No,
Takes
he
out a rag.
doesn't.
Let's
You're
a move on.
okay.
Let's just.
Okay, Adlith, let's go. Lead the way.
And yeah, Adlith gets when she starts leading, she gets extremely focused. You kind of see the It's a weird way of saying it, but like the prey kind of look that Adlith has turns into the hunter as she gets very she's doing things like bending down, checking tracks, trying to pick a direction to enter, which she thinks would be best for the group, and the ears are alert, and yeah, very different from the giddy Adlith, the giddy nervous Adlith. This one seems a lot more sure of herself.
And to the rest of you, it's interesting how much of a change you see in her compared to what you had first met when you first met her, being kind of the nervous creature that she was in town. She seems very much in her element here. You all kind of trust pretty much everything that she does when it comes to leading you through this forest. And the forest itself, as you kind of exit Elbador and get farther and farther into the forest, it starts out rather sparse. So the trees are kind of spaced out, and it's rather beautiful in here. The canopies are very, very tall, and you can see the sun kind of peeking down and just kind of laying out this beautiful scene as you kind of are exiting Elbador. And as you get farther and farther into the day's travel, following Adlet's lead, the trees begin to get more and more dense, less grass and more, foliage, and it's rather rough. Um, the sunlight itself kind of gets less bright and it becomes more and more dim in the forest. Almost, I wouldn't say it's darkness, but it is rather dim in here now, a solid gray. And at this point is wherever all of you are really relying on Atlas prestige here in the forest. As it has become more and more wild, you can tell as you farther and farther you get. And you do travel for miles at this point, probably close to 10 miles before you have to probably stop and take a break and gather yourselves, drinking water and probably having an afternoon meal before you decide to head off again. Adlith, I would like you to roll me a perception check.
I guess here, before you roll, what is it? I guess like as we're getting down or whatever, I'll probably try to like figure out like some snacks to make real quick. And I guess is like I know that since like you're in like your element in giant, I'm just gonna say, don't forget to check your pocket there. And I'm gonna just do kind of like a quick hand motion. And what is it? The same pocket as before feels a little warm, and you have a bardic inspiration that you could use if you'd like. So that's a D6.
Okay. I will use it because that's a full roll. Oh shit!
Oh,
Great.
wow.
Plus one.
12.
Oof.
So
My
all of
passive's a
you,
19.
all of you begin to feel this. The temperature here begins to get colder and colder as you get deeper into the forest. Not so much that you have to like bundle up, but there is a coolness to the air. Adlith, as you're leading, it's beginning to get the air is
Wow, like
beginning to
Christmas.
change. uh, the air is beginning to change as you guys are traveling. Your nose kind of and you notice just on your fur that the air itself is beginning to become a little moist. Um, and as you travel further and further on, it's beginning to create this thick mist. It's kind of sitting almost just above all of your ankles. So you're almost walking through this field of mist. And it kind of swirls lazily as a soft breeze kind of passes through the forest.
Um,
Good.
Sorry, can Adlith like wind? Because she has a really long tail. Can she wind it along to her front and kind of use it to sweep the mist in front of her so she can see where she's putting her feet?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay.
So it is clearing a path. So it does do so as you are moving your tail in front of you. It creates this path kind of out in front of you. Are gonna have to consistently do so because as you stop, it kind of finds its way back in front of you. Um, but as you continue, you can barely make something out in the distance. A shape. seems kind of misplaced in the forest amongst all the trees and foliage. Kind of makes you hesitate for a moment. It's not moving. What do you want to do?
Does it look like an animal?
No, it just seems stagnant. It's hard. It could be a large tree stump, or something. It just seems out of place. It kind of sits at this weird cocked angle, and it kind of looks misshapen. And you can just see, and if you want to get closer, you'll be able to maybe see a little bit more. But from this distance, and with that roll, that's pretty much all you can make out. It kind of sits in the shadow of the forest, at this weird angle. And it seems kind of misshapen.
Atlas, is everything okay?
Yeah, there's just something up ahead I want to check out. Just to be safe. I can go alone if you want. I just want to sneak up.
No, I'll come with you. I'll remove my pistol and I'll follow after.
I
How
think we should
close
all
are we?
probably stick together.
You're probably about 30 or so feet away at this point.
I'm gonna just peer really closely in the direction she's pointing
Go ahead and give me a
and
perception
use
check.
divine sense.
Oh, divine sense.
Mhm.
That's celestial fiend undead.
Anything affected by the hollow spell, or yes, celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet that is not behind total cover.
You do not sense anything, but you can give me a perception check.
Sure.
Kind of focusing in on that.
Big ol'
area.
9.
You can't make it out either, from this distance at least.
You know, I heard there's witches in these woods that eat people whole.
Wait. Mr.
Ignore
Tree,
him.
what is
Ignore him.
that?
You asking the tree next to you?
Yeah, what is that?
It just kind of gives this groan in response, like.
Does that make her feel uneasy or like reassured?
It's almost reassuring in a way. Yeah, it's not making you fearful.
Okay,
But
Atlas
you get
will.
the sense that the tree's not worried.
Okay, she'll say that the group should just move together then and check it out. Now that she's not super worried, you see the shoulders relax a little bit after talking to the tree, and she'll lead the group towards it quietly. But yeah.
Calder just
I got my
pull his
pistol
sword
up.
a few inches out.
Yeah, Ren's got her short bow ready, just for
I just-
funsies.
I put a hand up to have grandfather step on it and go, why don't you just hold up there and take a look and send him flying into a tree nearby?
You guys all hear as grandfather kind of leaps off of Isaiah's finger and hits and goes up to the tree. Were you trying to do something with him, or you just kind of give him?
He's going to
watching?
keep an eye on us while we're doing this.
Okay. So as you all get closer and slowly approach, through the fog, you can see a large stone, almost like a stone monument, that's kind of erected out of the forest, and it opens up into this small little glade, probably not more than 10 feet around each side of the monument. And the monument seems to be either something has attempted to knock it over, or the weather, or just time. The stone has kind of shifted in this odd shape, and it is not. It's rough, so it's a rough stone, and kind of jagged, and it comes to a round tip. And in on the very top of it, you see a hole that you can kind of see through, and then just underneath it is a large, what looks like has been carved, a large oak leaf that it kind of sits in the front of it. And underneath it, you see different kind of objects, different symbols that maybe some of you recognize or don't. There seems to be vases with flowers that seem to have wilted over time, some that seem to be more vibrant, baskets full of fruit and like vegetables and stuff like that. Some small wooden sculptures that seem to be carved rudimentally, kind of decorate the stone itself. It's all sorts of these little trinkets and things lay scattered around the base.
They look like offerings or something.
Mhm.
It's hard to tell what exactly they are, but they're placed at the base and they kind of scatter the very bottom of it.
Is
Is
there
there
any
any
writing
writing?
anywhere? Yeah.
Yeah.
No writing. The only thing that you kind of see carved into the stone is the leaf symbol.
That
Does anybody
symbol, would
recognize
that
the
mean
leaf
anything
symbol?
to anyone?
Yeah.
I would say Adlith, you can roll me a religion check, or history.
Not survival?
No, not survival. Is anyone proficient in history?
Nope.
Isaiah?
Yep.
Go ahead and
Isaiah's.
roll a history check for me. As
All
well.
right.
Hey.
Oh, I turned on 3D dice. Look at that.
Yeah, those are cool.
Nice. I got an 18 as well.
Very cool. Both of you recognize this to be the symbol of Sylvanus, a very prominent god of all types of woodland creatures. But that symbol is what that represents.
Okay, so Adlith would fill in the group then with Isaiah's confirmation that it most likely is a shrine and these are offerings, and they probably should just leave it alone. Because the last thing they
Yeah.
want is to piss off the woodland goddess while they're traveling through the woods.
Imagine that wouldn't be
Um,
wise.
yeah, Adlith is actually going to she'll kneel down and she'll reach into her bag and she'll pull out she's probably just got some random things like some pretty stones knowing her or some leftover like or actually yeah no I'll say she pulls out a rabbit's foot and she's gonna lay it down as an offering.
Castus, he wants to look around while she's doing that. Kind of look around, make sure nothing's nearby that might be threatening, anything like that.
Perception check.
Okay. That's an 11.
You do not see anything. And Adlith, as you set this down, this kind of leans it up against probably a small clay bowl with some nuts and berries that have been set inside of it. You stand up. Your offering has been left. Does anybody wear any religious symbology on their character? Okay.
No.
No.
Nope.
Calder, as she kind of stands up, you feel your pouch begin to get hot.
I'll reach my hand in.
As you do, you feel a warmth inside your pouch.
Is it that symbol?
It is, and as you pull it out, kind of by the string, as you pull it out and hold it in your hand, it just turns into like this fiery ash. It almost just burns up as you're holding it, and nothing left but the rope that it was hanging.
Is that good or bad?
I'm thinking maybe the forest lady, not a fan of Ilmater.
I mean, gods do tend to be rather territorial. Might be we just. We're told that she doesn't broker any others in her realm. Well, in their realm. I don't really know you could go. Anyway.
Well,
I wonder if the tribe that we're looking for worships here.
Seems like there's some kind of life around here making offerings.
Yeah. Can you ask grandfather to keep an eye on the trees? Castia said that they like to travel in the trees.
it's a good idea.
He'll keep his eyes out, certainly. He's got better ones than I do at the moment, so.
Maybe even having him fly overhead. Keep an eye out from above.
Is this more of like a pine? Well, it's not going to be a pine forest if there are branches enough that they can get through. But is the canopy full enough that you would actually see worse flying over top than being underneath?
Probably you like if you were a bird or an owl, you'd probably be weaving in and out of branches,
Yep.
right, to keep up with you. Unless you only if the canopy itself probably sits 10 or so feet above you guys, so it is quite tall. So if you wanted him to be above you, he has space. But if you're wanting him in the canopy, he would have to weave in it. So.
Yeah. No, it's probably best I'll just have him go tree to tree and keep his eyes open. He can pace us that way and keep a pretty good eye out. But doesn't really talk, so I guess I'll just send him out and have him come sit in my head or something if he finds anybody.
Yeah. Adlith, do you see any like tracks or anything? Like any paths or anything that lead from this place to somewhere else where maybe we can look and see who worships here?
You see the ears give a little flick, and she's gonna direct her attention downwards to. Yeah, yeah, to look and see.
Yeah, that's
Find,
survival or
finding
investigation. Good.
finding
Good.
a
No.
trail only takes 1 minute in a confined area or 10 minutes outdoors.
Okay. So give me an investigation or a survival check, whichever you would like.
Oh my god.
Once you roll.
The suspense.
Okay. I love it. It takes you a while. But you being part of this forest, you do realize there are small, what I would call deer trails, or like paths that the natural animals that live in this forest have taken. You can see there is travel to and from the shrine, whether it's from a sentient or not a sentient being, but like not a wildlife. It's hard to tell. But you can tell that it does head these paths running from a north to south direction. But it's hard to tell. Can't really find any direct paths, no footprints, other than probably scattered wildlife around here. So
Okay, she's gonna direct the group to follow. She'll warn them, and she'll say, might be a little tight. Make sure you don't get caught on anything, and watch out for those tiny little burrs that get stuck in your fur. They are horrible. And she's gonna lead them down one of the deer paths that head north.
okay. You travel for probably another mile or so, and it's not too far off of the shrine. The trees kind of open up in the forest, and you see what seems to be a carved path. It's not stone; it's dirt, but it seems like someone has created a path, and it kind of the forest itself begins to widen, and it becomes less dense foliage and trees, but more rocky with sparse trees kind of surrounding it, and dirt, and it kind of just begins to open up. Um, Adlith, as you're traveling, you begin to see what looks like remnants of ruins. Small, like probably a foot high or so. And the rest of you begin to see this as well. As all around you, you can see little tiny remnants like probably broken pieces of wall, maybe like a fence or something here and there. This like all made of stone, and it is covered in moss. It's weathered to the point that you clearly can't tell what its make is. And it has been in here. And it is scattered like every 10 feet or so, you see another piece. And then maybe a broken piece of a pillar kind of lays scattered. So there has been some sort of civilization here in the past as you guys are traveling closer and closer. Adlith, can I have a perception check from you?
Yes, and then I also had a question.
Mm-hmm.
Let me roll my perception check, and then I'll ask.
Okay.
Go
ahead and ask.
Do these runes remind her of the runes of home?
Not really. This seems to be some like way older, right? And it's made out of like I don't crafted stone, right? Like you see remnants of like what may have been a stone building or stone pillars, like in this area at one point in history. But this is way
Okay.
too old to remind you of home.
Okay.
Okay. But up ahead, you see, you guys are beginning to climb this little incline. And up ahead, you can see a few things. First, you see what looks like a person at first, which kind of spooks you and makes you stop. But then you realize with your roll that it is a statue of a robed figure that is holding a bowl out in its hands. And then just on top of the hill, you can see at the crest of it the tip of what looks like a tent.
Hmm. Uh, Adlith sees the bowl, reaches in her bag, pulls out a few pretty rocks, puts them in the bowl, and then points to the tent up ahead to the others. Do we want to check it out?
Yeah. Does this statue with the bowl seem familiar to anybody?
The statue itself is in pretty good shape for how old it looks in general. So the stone is weathered. And it is covered in like a mossy film. The face of the figure that's under the robe, it doesn't have any features. It's just this blank face. And it holds this bowl that's probably about a foot in diameter, kind of out in its hands. And it just kind of stares. And you are winding up this path that's kind of coming back into each other like a snake almost. And it sits right just as you make the first turn on your left. It kind of sits.
Is there any writing on it at all?
Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Ugh, my investigation sucks. Okay, different die. Let's try this one. Nice sherbet looking one. That's an 11.
Nope, you do not see any writing.
It's just the one tent.
From where you can see, you would have to continue up the path to see like the crest of the hill, right? Just from where you guys are, the vantage point that you see is just kind of tip of a tent that is pitched.
Let's
Maybe we should see what's going on with that.
yeah, we're looking for information. Anybody who knows this forest better than we do could have insights into where we're going. But go careful, maybe.
Yeah, keep an eye out for witches. That wasn't a joke earlier.
In Giant, I'm gonna say to Adlith, do you know where what your druid friend usually slept in? Did they have
He
one
has a
place?
hut.
Oh,
She traveled, but she had a hut that she went back to. What she stayed in temporarily while traveling, I'm not sure.
so do you know where she went, or where she usually goes, or she just kind of disappears and comes back?
All over.
Do you think this could be her?
Maybe. Lillian!
Oh fuck!
God.
Adlith, maybe not.
Yes.
I
No,
don't know
no.
if that's a good idea.
Do we notice any movement
But-
from the direction of the tent after that?
Perception check.
Yes.
I'm joining on that one.
Calder just draws the sword and sets it on the ground in front of him, just ready.
I'm gonna
Let's
make
see.
that perception check as well.
Perception is a 19.
15.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a 10 for me.
You guys do not hear anything. No reaction.
All right. Let's not scream into the forest, and let's just walk up there, okay?
Preferably.
Okay.
I mean, I typically do find that if you surprise something in the forest, it's a lot more likely to try and kill you than if it knows you're coming.
Yeah, we
I mean,
can
depending
walk.
on the size, the things that would be looking to eat you probably are still going to eat you. But the things that are dangerous but not trying to eat you are more
Right.
dangerous when they're surprised.
Well,
Yeah.
if there's
I
anything up there,
I also think screaming a name might be a little surprising.
Yeah.
yeah. If there's anything up there that didn't answer her call, which means it's either dead or not fond of us. You want to give this a wide berth, or do you want to go in careful?
Well, the last time we did this, somebody ended up holding a knife to Eggfell's throat, I think it was. But it turned out okay.
Right. So careful it is. Calder holds his great sword low and just starts, like, he moves to the front of the group and just starts slowly moving forward.
Okay. And who is behind him?
I'm gonna start
Atlas.
unwrapping the bandages for my arm. I'll be behind her.
Seeing that
So-
everybody's like on edge, like it's kind of clicking to her, and she'll draw her longbow. She won't ready it, but she'll have it drawn. But she kind of realizes the situation now and is being quiet.
What is it? I guess Eggball is gonna just actually like weirdly reach down to the ground and just sort of like pick up like a fistful of like dirt and just kind of like rub it in his hands a little bit and just hold on to it.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say Ren will be towards the back, and she'll kind of head off the path a little bit into the trees, just slightly away from the group, just trying to be out of sight.
Okay.
Cassis will take up the rear. He has his pistol out. It's at his side, not pointed, but he'll keep to the back.
Okay. And as you got Isaiah, are you towards the middle?
Yeah, he's mostly towards the middle, and he's actually just entirely casually walking,
Okay.
watching everybody be all upset and be like,
So, Calder leading, you kind of continue up this winding path. And it takes you a little bit because it is an incline. And as you get closer and closer to the kind of precipice of this, you can notice that it begins to flatten out. And you smell, all of you, instantly, Adlith probably first between anybody else, the smell of a fire. Probably a small cooking fire by just the smell of the smoke. It doesn't seem like it's a roaring fire or anything like that. But as you get closer and closer to the top of this, and it begins to level out, you can see there's not just one tent, but there's actually three, kind of spaced out around what is a small campfire. There are some crates and some barrels that seem to have been placed near the tents. But what is most interesting is that strewn around you there are three bodies, two of which have been dismembered. One kind of ripped open from the back. He kind of lays face down in the dirt, and it seems like claw marks or something has like a wolf or some that kind of like carnage, like it has ripped him open by something. The other one is missing an arm and his other leg, and it's kind of you can see pieces of it kind of strewn around the fire. The other one just seems to be dead, where he tried to run, kind of face up, laying with one arm across a short sword across his chest.
All very obviously dead.
Yes.
Okay.
No one lives in this scene.
Meteor.
The fire's still burning, or
The fire's smoldering. So the smoke
Smoldering.
still slowly is rising, probably a small little plume that kind of is rising.
Immediate
Yeah.
reaction
As
is to
we-
look around and make sure nothing's still here that we can see or hear.
Yeah, as we close in on the camp too, I just like trying to keep a keen eye on what's all around us. I'm gonna divine sense again.
Okay, divine sense. Give me a perception check, Redrick.
Can I do like a medicine check to see how long these bodies may have existed in their current state?
10
Sure.
perception.
You do not notice anything. It's actually oddly quiet as you approach this campsite. Go ahead and give me a medicine check. As
Medicine
you
is
kneel
18.
down to one of them. Which body do you go to?
I go to the one that's whole.
Okay. That's probably the one to your farthest left. Okay. You said it was an 18? They're at least a few days old. The blood around them has begun to dry into the dirt. It doesn't seem like there's still some fresh blood. The wounds kind of seem fresh, but the blood that kind of surrounds the body is
Okay.
rather dry at this point.
I will relay this to the others. Yeah, so it's been a couple days.
"Hmm,
maybe immediate danger is past, but question, Adlith, Eggball, you know the forest better than I do. Do you know of creatures that kill people but don't eat them for food?
Adlith, with that knowledge too, would go over to the body that's like completely ripped open, and you can see like her nose is kind of like crinkling, but she's gonna look through the wounds and see if she can figure out anything that this might like if she's seen familiar kind of
Okay.
mark like injuries before.
Yeah, give me an investigation check.
Divine Sense didn't pick
Um,
anything up, right?
No,
Can I
sir.
do can I do medicine?
Sure.
I wanted to. Could I check the ground for tracks? I guess just to see if there's any that seem out of place or that seem a little weird.
Yeah,
I
investigation
mean,
check.
not human.
Uh, 23 medicine.
23.
Oof,
Very
that's
good
rough.
roll.
That's 7 for investigation on tracks.
Okay. It seems like it was chaos here. You don't see any definite tracks leading away or to the place. Which body were you investigating, Adler?
The one that's like mauled from the
Okay.
back.
Yeah, so you kind of lean down and just begin investigating the wounds itself. At first, you don't think you see anything, but then something kind of catches your eye. Within some of the wounds themselves, you see what looks like this green mossy substance that seems to be either growing out of the wounds or left over from something that but it's odd.
Does that seem like something that might relate to like the treants that she's so familiar with? Like, does it seem like something they could do?
Give me a nature check.
You ready for the ranger with 0 nature proficiency?
Mhm. 13. You're not quite sure, but it seems odd. Obviously, there's moss growing out of these wounds, especially towards like the edges of the wound, right? Like where not inside the body itself, but around the edges of the wounds.
And
Liz would point out that her guess is that it's not like an animal. It's something else. What else she's not sure, but
Are any of their
The-
belongings messed with? Sorry.
No, good.
From your distance, it's hard to tell. But as you're saying this, like kind of wondering, Ren, you hear something kind of land behind you, and you hear this. And you turn around to see this thing on 4 legs, covered in these vines and moss. What looks like it would be a panther of some sort, but it has 4 purple eyes. And as it opens its mouth, its teeth are made of these sharp vine-like thorns, and out comes 3 long purple tongues as they and it goes to leap on you. And that is
Calder
where we're
starts
going
running.
to end our session.
Oh man.
Of course.
That's how Ren
Oh
dies.
dear.
And
No.
that is where Ren dies.
No.
Sarah just
So
gets her
young.
art. Just
Yeah,
gets her
now
art.
you gotta get
I
new
character
just
one.
got that art. Somebody
I'm
better have a
coming to
Revivify at
help.
level 2.
Don't worry, I got it.
Alright, cool. I feel better now.
Real good thing we got the emotions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I have those potions too. That's good.
Double fisting the potions. Oh.
So, real quick before we end the stream, gotta call out a couple follows that we haven't called out yet since our last stream. We got Rain Dancer, Chris Zoll, Pasha SC, C Miller 3366, Patch PM, The River Styx, Kenobi Code 22, Kodiak Ultimate, and Nomos 42C. So thank you guys.
Hey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks a
welcome,
lot.
everybody.
I really
Thank
do
you.
appreciate it.
And anyone
Yeah.
that's watching the stream, appreciate what we're doing. We'd love a follow.
I see you right where I saw Day. I see you. I saw
Spread the
you shout
word.
me out.
Yeah. But yeah, we're getting close
Alright,
to
guys.
50. That'll be affiliate, so
There we go.
looking forward to
I
it.
really appreciate
Nice.
everyone watching. It was fun.
Very much.
Hope
Yes,
to see you next
yes.
week.
Yeah. See you guys.
Right.
Have a night, guys.
See ya.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.